I'm gonna have to slow down on this one. Might have shaken it a little too aggressively.
All right, boys.
Took some spray on that one.
Jeez,
I cannot do this without spilling.
First casualty.
I was just about to say, that was the first time I've done that without spilling. And then as soon as I put it down, it spilled over. It's all good. Cheers, boys.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Oh, that's going to last.
Got to get through all this foam.
Busted out the holiday stein for you guys.
Love it.
Yeah, where'd you get that from?
Solid.
Somebody give you that from a travel gift or something?
No. Grandfather gave me a bunch of these things, so I got
nice.
I got a whole cabinet full of some pretty intense looking.
So they're like legit. They're older.
It's legit, though.
Yeah, they're the real deal.
Hell yeah,
that's awesome.
Yep.
I've never drank from a beer stein.
The first time caller, long time listener.
What's it made out of? Is it like ceramic?
Yeah, it's got that nice
lead
on the top, right there, boys.
Is that so like nobody can spit in it or like nothing?
Yeah, it's like wondering what the point of that is.
Yeah, you just gotta get the old thumb action deployed, pull her back.
Maybe it keeps it from oxygenating or whatever. You know,
maybe
a little less oxygen, not as exposed.
Yeah, so maybe some temperature control. I don't know.
All right, if you're watching this and you know, leave it down in the comments.
Oh, someone will know.
Someone will
Problem
know.
is nobody's watching this.
Yeah.
It's crickets.
So if one of the four of us know.
We'll have to leave our own comment. We're gonna do some research.
Yeah, I've never drank out of one. I like to see the beer, you know? I always use a glass.
I do too.
That may be the point, because going back that far, you may not have wanted to see the beer.
Yeah, for sure.
It's better not knowing.
Yeah, the flies, dirt.
Well, tonight I decided to prime the tank, first beer of the day, with Chunk from Drecker in Fargo, North Dakota. This is a raspberry rice pudding sundae sour. So it's got raspberry, coconut, vanilla soft serve ice cream, and cinnamon. And hops, it has Magnum and Hallertau Blanc again, like the other one I drank. 7.1%. Pretty thick. Really desserty.
How'd you come up on that one?
My buddy from Fargo came out to backpack with me, and he brought me like 10 cans from here. So nice.
Nice.
Give me a nice variety selection.
If you guys ever want that Dreckler, I have access to it too. So
Drecker.
You can get it locally.
Drecker, thank you. Yeah, it's a bottle shop pretty close to my house, and he's pretty heavy-handed with it. So
Paul's like one of those dads that says everything wrong. Like, I don't know if he does it on purpose or.
I gotta keep you guys straight.
Just making sure we're paying attention.
That's right.
Occasionally pepper it with words that aren't words. Those kinds of things.
Yeah. She say it with conviction.
You gotta slip them in. You gotta make people question themselves.
Exactly.
What'd you pour in that Stein, Paul? Look like a dark beer.
Yeah, so I poured something semi-local from Bend, Oregon, from Crux. It's Tough Love. It's their barrel-aged Imperial Stout. Really good. I haven't had one of these in quite a while. Has black strap molasses and spices, and it's aged in bourbon barrels. So they do a different series every year. This one's
Nice.
a few years old, and it's just been parked in the back of my fridge for a long time. So really held up nice, and it's good to taste it again.
That's
Nice.
awesome. So you've had it before, man?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll usually drink one a year or something like that. They're pretty heavy. It's 11.5%, pretty standard for a stout, I guess, maybe even a little bit more, but um if you go there during the winter, it's kind of cool because they'll put on like the last 5-6 years of that particular series, the Tough Love. And so you can kind of compare, the current year with the last
Oh, that's
year
cool.
and years before and kind of like pick your spot. So kind of fun to get a flight like that.
Nice.
Nice.
What do you got there, Mike?
All right.
You're
So
staring
I'm
that baby
drinking.
down.
Yeah, I know, because it's burial, and you know how their titles are. A righteous absolution in the face of the never ending. It's a dope ass name. So it's a stout, 14%. This is sent to me by you, Paul. I think
sweet.
sometime back in July, August. So it's been sitting in my beer fridge, staring into my soul every time I opened it up, and figured our Thanksgiving episode was a good time to dip into it. So, and I'm really glad I did because it's pretty amazing for 14%. Not a lot of alcohol presence. Let's see the description: Imperial stout toasted with pistachio, Mayer lemon zest, Tahitian vanilla bean, cinnamon, and sea salt. Definitely the vanilla bean is the predominant flavor in this one. So, which is one of my favorite stout kind of flavors, up there with coconut. So, really enjoying this. I just saw this actually. It's in collaboration with Tripping Animals Brewing. So, yeah.
I think
I've never actually
they're
heard of Tripping
in
Animals.
Texas.
Okay,
Yeah.
Huh.
nice.
What's the bottle?
Well,
What's the bottle look like? What's the-
it's
what's-
not.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, that was great.
I think I got
you
that
had
one.
it,
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah,
It's solid. Definitely
Yeah, that
vanilla,
one-
like very vanilla heavy, which I love. So vanilla and coconut are my two favorite stout kind of flavors. So
yeah, I like that one a lot.
Tripping
remember
Animals
that
is
one.
in
Enjoying
Florida.
this over.
Sorry.
okay,
Yeah. They do
You
good
said
stuff. They do
yeah.
like lots of smoothie sours and like stouts and
You said Florida?
yeah, they're in Florida.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've had their
Oh,
I
that's
think
right.
I've had their
Yeah.
sours
Yeah.
before.
I've just had like collabs that different people have done with them. Like Other
I forget-
Half, and
I forget where in Florida
Mortalis.
they are. Not that it matters, but
it says Doral, Florida, but I don't know where that is.
yeah, I don't know where that is. It looks
Making
like a
beer
neat
in
spot.
Florida.
They do some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, they have a cool aesthetic.
So I grabbed
drinking, Jimmy?
I grabbed a Mortalis here today, out of Western New York. This one is their Hydra Jamba Jelly Donut. It's a sour. And what do we have in here? This one is boysenberry, raspberry, strawberry, and jelly donuts.
god damn.
So fairly sweet, and it's pretty amazing. It's
I
really
had
good.
that one last year, so I'm excited to get it this year.
Yeah, it's really solid.
And that's in collaboration with Fourscore, right?
Oh wait, I didn't catch that. It might be. I don't see it on there, but I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's with Fourscore.
But
They do really good
yeah.
smoothie sours too.
Yeah, it's like super thick, and it's definitely very fruity, but it also has that, you can sense that jelly donut in there.
I had one of their Gemini series last night. And it was so great.
The glazed donut one.
Yeah, that's like my favorite. I think it's so good.
They did one last winter that I really liked, that had like some really strong hints of chocolate in it. I forget which one that one was, but
A
it was really
smoothie?
tasty. Yeah,
Yeah, that probably would have been the Even More Hydra or Triple Berry Campfire.
yeah, it was one of those two, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember
was-
that campfire was great.
It's the same beer, just for some reason Mortalis calls it Triple Berry Campfire, but Evil Twin calls it Even More Hydra because it's a collab between them.
All right, cool. Yeah,
That's good
really
stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, it is Foursquare. You're right. Sorry, it's just on the can there.
Yeah.
By the way, Doral, Florida is right outside Miami. Again, not that it matters, but that's where Tripping Animals is.
Nice.
It's kind of weird though. I mean, stouts and stuff coming out of Miami. I don't know.
It's pretty hot for that kind of stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been
Maybe it's a way
cracking
to-
more stouts now that it's getting colder.
To beat the
Yep.
heat. You know, just
Yeah, I don't. Jimmy, what's the weather like at your place? I can't imagine it's that much. Like I'm like socked in fog, rainy, shitty, 35-degree type thing. It's like
yeah, we're a
perfect stout day.
balmy, rainy, crappy, shitty 40 degrees today.
Okay, yeah. So it's like perfect stout weather.
Oh God, yeah. You don't. Yeah, there was a breeze earlier, but we lost power this morning and all that stuff. So
Do you?
it's like, all right, bring it. That doesn't happen often, but
I was gonna say, do you use power a lot?
no. In where I'm at, a lot of the power lines are buried, so we don't have to deal with a lot of that stuff. But
Mhm.
I've got about 900 feet of power line coming from the road to my house. It's like all on my property, so it's all like through trees and shit. So it's mostly cleared off now, but like lose power all the freaking time.
How big is your
Wow.
property out there?
How many acres?
Yeah, how much land do you have?
70 acres.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's what you have?
yeah,
Dude, that's great. You're out there by yourself.
yeah. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty much the whole like most of it is like my yard is only like half an acre, and then I have there's a pasture that's kind of down in front of my house. I have a barn that was built in like 1880s. There's a pasture associated with it. It's about 6-8 acres that I maintain. The rest of it's woods. It's like pretty much the whole front half of a mountain that rises up behind my house. So yeah, it's pretty sweet. So it's a lot of land, but not a lot of maintenance as far as that's concerned anyway.
you ever think about
We
tapping
do this
some of the
power line.
trees?
Yeah, it's a lot of work though.
It
It's
is.
and it's a shitty time of year, you know. It's like, you know, the end of February, early March. It's not like I'm never like really like super into going out there. So and there's two ways you can do that. You can do the manual way where you're lugging buckets, and my property is so steep that it's a nightmare to do that. Or you could run a bunch of lines from tree to tree to tree into a collection point, which makes it a lot easier, but it looks like shit. You got all these like plastic, you know, PEX tubing going everywhere. So I thought about it a little bit. You need a lot though. You need 40 gallons of sap is 1 gallon of syrup. You got to boil the shit out of that. So it's a lot of work.
You could do what most Vermonters do: is just buy it from New York, water it down, and then sell it as Vermont maple syrup.
Guys, Vermont, yeah, is that what it is? Is that how it works? Good to know.
Well, we get our shit from Canada, and we just water it down. So you're twice watered, man.
Exactly. It's Canadians. No wonder they got so much hair on their chest.
That truly is a goat farm out there.
Yeah. Well, no, honestly, it's kind of funny. There's no, despite the name of the road being Goat Farm Road, there's no goat farms. I had sheep for a little while. So it was Sheep Farm Road, but
What happened
they
to
went
them?
with the ex-wife. So they went with the ex-wife. So, well, they didn't go with her.
You killed them as well. Ate them.
I wanted to, but I mean, I'm not into like killing animals, but I'm just saying like, yeah, they went to a farm where ultimately they were going to be processed for meat. They were meat sheep, so they were pets for us. But yeah, so we had sheep, we had horses and stuff in that pasture. I loved having the horses, but a lot of work.
You're just
More.
thinking about your new smoker, Eric, man.
Yeah, that thing is
I'm
sick,
stuck for that.
dude.
Yeah.
Pumped.
I was just priming it today. I mean, this will come out after Thanksgiving, but tomorrow I'm gonna smoke a whole chicken to practice because I'm gonna smoke a turkey for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, baby.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's
usually we
killer.
buy a smoked turkey from
So
this killer
sick.
barbecue place like right by my house, but
Yep,
my wife was like, "Let's just do it ourselves. Let's try it." So,
dude, I
Going
love
up.
it. That's awesome.
That's badass, dude.
have you ever
Very
smoked
cool.
a whole chicken in yours, Paul?
I haven't, but I should try it out because I'm thinking about smoking like a small turkey in mine. So I
Yeah.
should try a chicken just to do a little demo.
Yeah, way cheaper. And I don't know. I was looking it up online, and most people say it takes about like 3.5 to 4.5 hours, which is
Huh.
shorter than I thought
Oh,
it would
wow.
take at like 225.
Yeah,
What brand is yours, Eric?
Traeger.
Oh, Traeger, nice. Yeah.
they have a lot
they're
of great
from here in Utah.
recipes on their app. like the Traeger app. There's all kinds of recipes and how long to cook
Yeah.
it. And it's pretty user friendly.
Yeah, I'm super stoked to start using it for everything.
Heck yeah.
I went to the grocery store and bought just like tons of meat to.
You're just like,
Practice. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
throw those meat sheep out when you need them.
Yeah, I know. 2 years ago, would have had 3 of them for you.
Yeah, man. It's a sign that I'm in my 30s, you know? Craft beer, smoked meats. That's about as good as it gets at this age.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah,
10 years
right.
from now, it'd be your first heart attack.
Nah, stay in shape.
No, that's great, dude.
Well, this will be an interesting episode. We're doing something different for once.
A little bit.
But yeah, so in the spirit of Thanksgiving, we decided we would talk about our own photos. So we chose photos from each other's portfolios that we liked, and you guys made some interesting choices from my portfolio, I'm just gonna say. But all of your guys' websites fucking suck. I'm sorry to say it. Oh, you don't have like anything on
my
there.
website
Mike,
does
you have like
suck.
Yeah, wrong.
your Instagram feed, Mike, is like there's all this amazing stuff, and I wanted to go find it on your website to like download the JPEG.
Yeah, it's not there.
Nothing on there. You gotta update it. Like,
Yeah, I know I do.
it doesn't even look like the same photographer. Your website looks like some fucking random. Like,
No, I know. So there's a little bit of a story behind that because like in Vermont, like there's a certain like type of print. There's a certain modality that sells, and that's what's on my website for the most part. Mine's my quiet work things.
I wouldn't buy any of that
And-
shit, dude.
I know, but like you'd be surprised the people that do. And
I would.
and
be
I
very
like doing
surprised.
that. I normally wouldn't pander to the audience, but you know, so like a lot of this is like kind of hedge fund people that have second, third, fourth, fifth homes up here in Vermont. There's a lot of that, and they go into these art galleries and they have no problem paying $1,000 for
Send
you
them
know,
my way,
24
dude.
by 36.
I'll take care of them.
I don't want that.
I would love to, but they want the Vermont barn framed covered bridge. You know, that's what
I'm
they
a good
want.
salesman, dude. I'll
I'll
take
send
care
them your way. I don't mind. But anyway, so I normally wouldn't pander to an audience like that, but like since I've started donate, like I love donating all the money I make from it because I donate 100% of my profits to the National Forest Foundation. So like I keep doing it and I keep putting the stuff out there and keep the stuff on my website just so it generates that traffic so I could just turn around and pump that money back into it. So but nonetheless, I do need to update it and put some of my more current work on there, not necessarily to sell it, but just to have it showcased in better format than IG for sure.
That's a good point. I didn't even really look at your IG. I just went straight to your website.
Yeah, website sucks.
And I found some. I mean, it's great. I mean, there's definitely some really good stuff on there, but it's not as modern or as upkept as your IG.
Yeah.
So you need to roll up your sleeves and get some fucking work in, dude. Let's go.
It's true, dude. No doubt.
Yeah.
No
I
doubt.
update my website before anywhere else. Like if I like give birth to an image, it's there first and then it goes out to other places.
That's a good way to
Yeah.
do it.
That's what I do too.
It is. I should really, yeah, I gotta do that. It's a priority.
Now, Paul, you had some stuff on IG, like recent stuff that wasn't on your website. So I don't know
Yeah,
what
this
you're
is
talking
like-
about.
Well, it's just my most recent stuff because I've just been silently putting together a new gallery, and I
Mm.
probably have like 20 images that's on my desktop. I'm trying to get up to like 30 or 40, and then
Awesome.
I'll.
What's a gallery,
and
like
then-
Death Valley or something?
No, it's just a mix of most of it is winter type images. Because that's like my favorite season to shoot. So a lot of it's last year Yellowstone, last year Tetons, 2 years ago Canada. Most of it's winter type stuff, but then right now I'm kind of sprinkling a little bit of fall stuff that I've been shooting lately because I've kind of been having a good time with that. So it'll mostly be
Nice.
winter with a little bit of fall. So yeah, and
Yeah, if you add-
I
I was gonna say, if you add some sheep or covered bridges into any of those photos, you guys from out west,
You
you'll
throw them
rake
in
it
a gallery in Vermont, dude. No problem.
Yeah, I mean Yellowstone's known for its covered bridges and sheep. So
Yeah.
Yes.
Just doesn't raise my center column, man.
Right.
Takes a lot more than that.
Oh, I love it. That's so good.
All right, we'll get into it. We'll start out with this one because it's absolutely fucked up.
Yeah, this is gonna be one of mine.
Yeah, same here.
I beat you to it.
Yep.
So yeah,
I had a feeling one of you were gonna take it, so I was like,
Oh, yeah.
fuck it.
It's like the only good image Paul has.
That's
Pretty much.
that's literally my showcase right there. The rest is hot trash.
downhill from there.
Exactly.
No, I picked this one. I jumped on it because I knew there wasn't a lot to choose from. So I
I'm gonna get hot.
I saw
Rough.
that email come in. I was like, I'm on it. So, but yeah, so cool. I love the mood that this one has in it. You know, it would have fit well into our Halloween one as well.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't even fathom like what was going on here. Like I've just never seen anything like that.
Yeah, it's like as dense as fog gets before you can't see anything.
Right.
But you got like
That's
great.
That's how that morning was. It was just so thick. I mean, sometimes you could see nothing, and sometimes you could see some stuff. And I just sat there and shot for a couple of hours.
That's crazy. And it didn't rise up and cover everything, or
No, it was hanging low, and
so bizarre.
yeah, it was good. I was sitting there eating a breakfast burrito and drinking a cup of coffee, just clicking away.
What kind of a landscape
Nice.
was this? Like, what's the geography?
So, it's a valley that you kind of shoot down into, and above this valley is Mount Hood. So a lot of folks go
Oh, wow.
there to kind of shoot the valley with Mount Hood in the top, but I'm not super interested in that shot for like the mountain. But I really like how the fog just kind of sets in there. There's a creek or a river that kind of runs through the area as well. But yeah, it's often you get a lot of fog down in there. So fun place to
So it's
shoot.
kind of like an inversion. And that's why the fog is like low because there's like coming from the ground, or because a lot of
Yeah.
times when I shoot trees, the fog is like coming from above and it sinks down.
Right.
No, this was down low because I mean up above you could kind of still see the mountain. You could see the other stuff going on. This was just really deep and thick down below.
So cool.
Are those like oak trees?
I think so. I mean, that's kind of what I loved about it. It's a good mix of different trees. You know, it's typically
Actually, that's what I love about it too. It's like the
Right.
deciduous trees on the left, and they kind of diagonally transition into the evergreens in the background. I mean, amongst the other things, just the atmosphere and the mood of it. But I love that transition, and as a compositional choice, I think that was phenomenal.
Yeah, those dark, scraggly bare trees make it for me. You know, you have like these,
Sure.
faint pine trees, but pine trees are always kind of hard because they're just like, they all look the same, kind of like clones of each other, just kind of stamped around the frame. But then, yeah, those oak trees sticking up with all their arms and character really give you something to look at.
So you're probably pretty far away, right, Paul? Like 200, 500 type range.
Yeah, I mean, I was probably in the 4 to 6 range here. I don't know specifically, but
Yeah,
I had something pretty long on, and
yeah,
just kind of working that whole area. You know,
yeah,
you know how we do it.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Love it. Well done.
That's wild.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I thought there would be more of a story. That was kind of a letdown, but whatever.
Right?
Well, okay, I'll give you one story on it. So what's funny about this one is there was one other person there at the time I was shooting this, and it's always funny when they're trying to get like the grand landscape with the mountain with the fog below and that kind of stuff, and then they're kind of looking over at you, and I've got this 150 to 600 on,
Yeah,
and I'm not
complete
even
opposite setup.
Yeah, I'm not even pointing at
Facing
the
the
mountain.
other direction. Got your
Yeah.
pants down.
Yeah, absolutely. Belt around my neck, and
Peeing on the leaves.
and they're like, this lady, she was totally, what are you doing over there? I said, well, that's for
With
another
the belt around
time.
your neck.
None of your business.
That's
So
another
here, give it a
story. But she's like, besides what you're doing over there, what are you shooting? And I was like, well, I'm just going to shoot this stuff.
I was enjoying myself till you interrupted
well, now I'm smoking a cigarette, but before.
Oh God!
And she's like,
And there goes the algorithm.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Then she looked in the back of the camera, and she was like, "Whoa, okay, I see what you're doing there." And she quickly went over back to her camera, put the long boy on, and grabbed a belt. No, just kidding. And and went to work. So I mean, yeah, you guys know how that goes. I mean, you can be pointing at the ground, you can be doing whatever, and people kind of wonder by, and they're like, "What's this dummy doing?" I mean, but
all the time, man.
The other day, I was out just near home shooting like fall color stuff, and I was just like parked on the side of the road with my telephoto out, like just shooting these trees that were getting like just like dappled light, and this guy just like pulls up and screeches to a halt and gets out of his car, tripod camera, sets it up right next to me. He's like, "Oh, thanks for the idea, man," and he just like starts shooting. I'm just like,
"Are you serious?"
Yeah, I didn't even know what to say to him. I was like, "Dude, that's so obnoxious. Like that's so corny." And so then I got in my car and I left because I was just like, I'm not gonna hang out with this dude. And I'm coming out of the canyon back to like the highway, and there's like pretty sick stuff like up on this hillside. Lo and behold, after like 5 minutes, car comes, like pulls right in front of my car. He jumps out and he's like, "Oh, hey, good to see you again." And he's like, and then gets back in his car and leaves, like speeds off. Like he's just like so stoked he was able to like go out and like, I don't know what he was thinking. Like the photos weren't that great anyways, but I don't know. He got in and got out.
That's so brutal. It's the standard though. Bolino and I were at Rainier a few weeks ago, and we were kind of just stomping along, shooting down on this valley. And every time we would stop by ourselves, here comes like cars pulling up, and they're like, "What do you see?"
Yeah,
no,
crazy.
I don't know. Turn around.
A lot of people think
they always assume it's like a moose. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, every time I pull, like people come over and be like, "Was there an eagle?"
If you're like shooting on the side of the road in the Tetons, like as soon as a car comes, it'll just like park behind you, like autopilot, and then another car will park. Like there'll be like 7 cars like parked behind you within like 2 minutes because everyone just thinks you're looking at like a bear or something.
Yes,
so
exactly.
No, just a pine
exactly.
Fucking people.
So Eric, you having that guy over for Thanksgiving or what, man?
Yeah, we traded business cards and.
That's so good.
Guys are tight.
Yeah, gonna share the smoked turkey for sure. Not. Yeah, so anybody watching this, don't panic. We're not gonna. I don't know if we'll ever do this again, even, but we didn't make this show to talk about ourselves. But I mean, nobody knows who the fuck Paul, Jimmy, or Mike are, so I thought like maybe this could be a little introduction. You know, like they're all here for me, but you know, I want them to see you guys and.
Yeah, these are all just images we took off other websites. So anyway,
basically here to make Eric look good.
Most of the ones I was standing next to Eric, so kind of the same situation. I just rolled up next to him in the car, jumped out, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing, dude?" And I'm like, "Calm stop, bro."
That's right.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I absolutely love this one.
Yeah, it is a classic Jimmy photo.
I love it. Reminds me of like Patagonia type stuff. You know, I don't know where you took this or whatever.
Jimmy, was this one that you submitted to like one of the critique groups that you did, or did you send me this for feedback one time or something?
It was in one of the critique groups. I don't remember which one it was, but yeah, it was in there.
Yeah, I remember talking about this one. And you didn't delete it, dude. I told you it fucking sucked and it was garbage. Yeah, it's still on your website.
Yeah, get rid of it.
I got
Somewhere on the
carpal tunnel from deleting so many things off my website. I can only delete so many so fast.
So question along those lines. From that, did you make many adjustments to this final edit here?
Pretty minimal.
Okay.
He didn't listen to a thing I said.
No.
Exactly. Sounds
Obviously.
sounds like it was money well spent on the critique group.
I'm glad you
garbage.
chose this one, Paul, because I've been wanting to pick this bone with him for a while.
Yeah, I'm glad you texted it to me.
Gloves are
You
off.
said, hey, throw this one up because I got
It's
some work
bullshit.
to do on Jimmy. No, this one's great. I mean, I really love the backdrop, the separation. I hadn't seen this one previously either, so I kind of scrolled through your website, found a lot of great stuff. Pretty.
This
pretty
one's
hard
not
to
on his
choose.
website though.
It's not. I think it is.
No, I couldn't find it anywhere. I found it on
Yeah,
his Instagram.
If you look, you can find it.
It's
Dude,
on
I
there.
dug around. That's what I'm saying, man. Your guys' website sucks. So
I know.
annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys must have had a hell of a time digging through all my stuff because I have like 1 million images on my website now, but it's all on there
Yeah.
at least. You'll find it at some
Yeah.
point.
True.
Yeah, it was. I think it's on there. I can't remember what gallery.
What gallery is
it's
it in, Jimmy?
though.
It's not in the trees one. It's not in the Adirondacks one.
It's in the photographs one.
Weird. Weird place for it.
Oh no!
I'll be back in a minute. Hold on.
You're like drop. It's there. Where did you take this, Jimmy?
So it's near my house, and the setup is really cool because below it is water. So it sits like it's facing west. So when the sun is going down in the late afternoon, you get this really cool reflected light up into it. So there's nothing in front of it other than just like a lot of water, and you can look across at it. With a decent, length lens. I think I was at like 200, maybe 180 with this one. And so sometimes you can get this like cool pulsating light going across it if the water has waves in it and stuff. There's a few oaks along that shore, but this one kind of just stands out.
Well, I noticed this is an oak because of the shape of the leaves, but oaks don't usually turn red like this. This is more like a maple color.
Yeah.
At least where I am.
I'm trying to think which ones they are. So it's reds or whites. I was just looking at one.
The scrub oak here definitely does turn red, but like more traditionally, it's like orange, and then it goes like pale brown, like kind of gold looking, and then it goes like kind of purple sometimes too.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So the white oaks, occasionally you'll get one that's kind of like crimson, kind of like with some purple in it and stuff. I was just looking at one on Friday. I was trying to remember which one it was. It was just had this really intense color from top to bottom. Like all the leaves were in chime. Like this one wasn't quite in sync, but the whole thing was really wild.
Well, this one was green until you edited it in Photoshop.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, of course. Like, come on. But what's weird is like a couple trees away from this Friday, like the other tree wasn't really doing much. I mean, it's the same species, but so it's just kind of variable sometimes that way. It's just one looks great, the other one doesn't.
Mm-hmm. I like the gaps behind the tree, how they're like nicely placed within the scene, like they stagger nicely, like right to left.
There's like tiers.
Yeah, I can really see like what you were thinking when you composed this, not in like a obvious like on the nose way, but just as a fellow artist, I can appreciate your work here, man.
Yeah, it's great. I really love it.
I agree, and it is rare, at least around here, for oaks to be that color. So I definitely absolutely would have shot this. Like the red oak or the red leaves on an oak is just phenomenal. And I think oaks have so much more unique of a structure from tree to tree than other trees around here, again, in the Northeast. And I think, you really kind of grasp that in this image. This tree is definitely unique structure. So really well seen, man. I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that because I've been shooting so many trees lately because it's fall, and I was just kind of thinking like how many ways at the end of the day are there to like take photos of trees? Like, yeah, there's probably more stuff than what I've done. I'm just maybe not as creative as I could be, and I'm probably just kind of like doing what's comfortable. But despite that, I feel like they're always so unique just because the shape of trees is
Yeah.
never the same and like they just vary. It's like taking pictures of different people, you know, like maybe even if you do like the same
Yeah.
composition, same portrait style, just the subject matter changes so much it feels unique.
For sure.
Yeah, and there's another one. I'll send you guys a picture. Like I don't know if I can grab a decent one in a couple days. There's a swamp oak that also lives around here, and they have this really kind of creepy looking like finger like branches that are all kind of like gnarled and stuff. Like making like like that, but really just like a bare tree is just spooky looking, really
Yeah.
bizarre stuff.
Nice.
And they're
I love
huge.
that.
They're just gigantic. 80 feet tall. So.
Do you guys go much like for example, like this scene right here, Jimmy? Is this something that you've said, okay, I'm gonna photograph this in the fall, maybe I'll shoot it in the winter or the spring just to look at the same exact image and get different looks at it? Have you
Yeah,
guys
this
done much of
one.
that?
This one is easy, relatively easy to get to, and I every time I'm in there, I'm always taking a look at it.
Yeah. I've seen Noriega do that a few times with some classic Southwest stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, it's kind of cool to see the different seasonality of the same exact scene, which is cool.
Well, that's just how it is. Like when you're either shooting like in local places or places that you go to like every year or a couple times a year, like you just naturally pass by a lot of those spots or trees that you've shot before, and
Mhm.
it's just like visiting an old friend, you know, like you stop, shoot it for a little while, spend some time with it. But then a lot of
Yep.
times it's happened to me is like 3 or 4 years will pass and the half of the tree is like fallen over or the leaves never come back again one year, and
Right.
that kind of like makes it more special because like, oh wow, I'm glad I did take those photos because now it's impossible to make the same photograph.
Yeah,
Sure.
I really like that concept.
Yeah, it's like sad, but then it just makes you appreciate the subject matter, like the fleetingness of
Yeah,
everything in nature a lot more.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this one was kind of brown, dark orange this year. Just it didn't jump out at me.
That's interesting.
Yeah, you never know like when something might be the last time you get to experience it the way it is.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
Kind of funny
Nice.
you chose this one, Mike. I had no
I
idea
want
what
to
you
know
guys
why.
were gonna pick from me, but
I want to know why you think it was funny.
so this was part of a gallery that I made from like different rainforests in New Zealand.
Yeah, the Emerald
Like in
Forest. Yeah.
2019 and 2020, I made 2 trips there because it was so awesome. And back then, I was sharing like a lot more of my work with David Thompson and Alex Noriega. Like we'd share galleries while we were working on them with each other and like help each other curate. So we'd say like, hey, is there anything in here you feel like doesn't belong, or like should I get rid of it, or that isn't as strong as everything else? And this was like Alex's least favorite image from the gallery, and I almost got rid of it. And then I was like, nah, like it's cool, it's different than all the rest. The lighting is really different than the rest of the scenes because I didn't have a lot of like low angled like red light like this. So I just hung on to it, and I do like it, but yeah, it's just kind of funny. Like,
Yeah. So to me, so number one, I wanted to choose something like I mean, it's so hard to pick from your images, Eric, honestly, because you have so fucking many of them.
yeah,
And I wanted to choose
problem.
something that was like a little bit different than a lot of your work. And you do intimate stuff so well, you do grand landscape so well. So I wanted something that was kind of in between there, but something that I didn't see, or I wanted something that had some qualities that were not seen in as much of your other work. And so when I found this gallery, I kind of latched onto that. And this was, I think, the first one that you posted in it. And to me, this is just like eye candy. Like right away, you've got like a strong figure in the foreground that's got this kind of a lot of visual interest in it. It's kind of gnarled, the mosses. Of course, you edited it perfectly. The highlights and the shadows are balanced perfectly. But there's just so much. When I say eye candy, there's just so much for your eye to move around to. So you start out right there. The light the way I approached it, the light drew me to the left initially because that kind of big open spot, and then you got the brighter light in the background. So it's just the visual flow through this image, as chaotic as it is just it's just awesome. And so that's really why I chose it. It's just, again, the type of image you can sit with for a while and just kind of let your eyes wander around, and there's always something new there. And on top of that, I know how difficult it is to shoot a scene like this. Not only to shoot it, but to edit it and process it and put it out. So all your images are impressive. This one really stood out to me as being, unique amongst a great body of work.
Keep going, man. Keep going.
That's all I got, dude. Dude, you only gave me $50, dude. If you gave me 100, I keep going for another couple
what the
minutes.
hell? I only got $1. What the hell?
Yeah, seriously.
Jesus.
Dang, this is pretty sweet. I've never seen this one before, but it's great. I love it. I mean, the lighting, and really, what year was this, Eric?
This one would have been 2020 on the second trip that I did, in those 2 trips I made.
By yourself?
The first trip, I went to Fjordland for 2 weeks with my friend Gareth Coggin. He's an Australian photographer. And then I started researching the North Island more. And so then the second trip, I went to the South Island again, but then I also spent a couple weeks in the North Island.
Nice.
And I was by myself, and then my wife came over later. But I was backpacking in this forest by myself, completely alone for a few days to shoot these ones.
That's so cool. It looks like nothing any place I've ever seen before. It's
Super
just such
alien.
a wild.
Yeah, for sure.
It looks like something out of, like the way Avatar has created these familiar yet so different kind of landscapes and stuff.
Yeah, this was a super crazy place. And what's cool about it is it's like this. It's like a small mountain, for New Zealand, it's kind of a mountain, but it's just covered in these trees. So I had to backpack up, and I stayed at the top of the mountain, and low clouds come through. They call it a cloud forest, every morning.
Mm-hmm.
But this mountain is actually, I don't want to say the name or anything because I want to blow it up, but they granted it personhood. So the natives, the Maori natives, they were able to protect it, not just as wilderness or anything, but it's actually has the same rights as people do in New Zealand.
That's awesome.
So it's seen
Really?
as a living entity. Yeah.
That's so
cool.
killer.
I know, it's one of the coolest conservation ideas I've heard, because it's I don't know, it kind of clarifies things, if it's you're not going to cut down branches for firewood like I see people doing in Zion National Park or other national parks, just idiots.
Right.
I don't know, it just makes
it would be like a
clear,
salt or
how you
something.
treat it.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild. The biology dude in me was wondering, on the left side, so that tree that you have on the left there, those horizontal branches sticking out, it almost reminds me of juniper in a way. And those are
these should all be beech trees. I think they're silver beech trees. There's 3 different species of beeches in these forests, but silver beech trees, and then I think there's one called red beech, and another one called
so cool.
Can't remember the other one, but yeah, these should all be. There's a beech forest.
This is close to the beach, Eric?
No.
Weird.
Beech.
Gotcha.
I don't think we have any beech trees in the. No, actually, I think maybe we do on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we do. They're all dying, but yeah.
Not here. Are they deciduous?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're interesting. They Jimmy, you know the term for this, but the juvenile beech trees, up until they're about 15 or so feet, will hold on to their leaves throughout the winter, which around here is really cool because you can get these pristine white landscapes with these bright orange trees that still have their leaves on them. And it's really kind of cool around here, and it's all beech trees. What's that fancy ass word, Jimmy?
It's called, I might mispronounce it, macrescence, I believe is the idea. Yeah. So they kind of hold their leaves until the new leaves come out, almost until the new leaves come out in the spring. So you get these and as the winter progresses, they change color to almost kind of like white paper by March, April.
Yep. It's pretty cool.
Super cool stuff. Yeah.
But then once they're adult, once their trunk is more than 10 inches or so, they don't do that. They lose their leaves in the fall like every other tree around here. It's interesting.
Right. And the leaves will glow like they're
it's
weird.
crazy.
Like in the fall when they turn yellow, if it's a good year, like you'll be underneath them and you get this warm yellow glow all around you. It's so cool.
So from what I've read, like one of the main reasons deciduous trees drop their leaves is just to like retract all of the glucose possible that the leaves have created in photosynthesis. And that's why they turn like red and orange, because they're going back to the actual colors as the chlorophyll disappears. Right. And the other reason is like to decrease surface area so that snow doesn't pile up on top of the leaves, and the tree isn't going to collapse under a ton of snow. But I wonder why they would like cease photosynthesis, which is why the chlorophyll disappears, but then still hang on to the leaves throughout winter.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Jimmy
it's weird.
Has the answer
it's only beech trees that do it.
I've read a few like lame answers to it, but nothing I've really kind of held on to. So like saying like leftover from evolutionary time. I'm like, well, you could say that for a lot of things without any evidence of that. So yeah, I don't have a good explanation for it.
Yeah, Peter Wolleben has written a lot of stuff about beech trees because he's in Germany, and so beech trees are like the main deciduous tree in Europe. And one of the crazy things is like big browsers, like there's a certain kind of like pig, they'll like eat the acorns or like the seeds that the beech trees drop. But then like beech trees,
beech nuts,
obviously they want to reproduce, and so like somehow they can sense when there are too many animals eating the seeds, and they won't drop any seeds at all one year, so that the animal population decreases, and then the next year they'll like drop a surplus.
That's crazy.
The tree can sense that?
Yeah, like there have been patterns that are considered science now of how they've been able to like control.
Yeah, there's a book called like the Secret Language of Trees.
Well, the secret.
Which I actually have a copy of. I gotta. Yeah, that's
the hidden life of the secret life of trees is Peter Wolleben. That's who I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, all right, maybe that's it.
He's written a bunch of books.
So I have a copy of that. I got to read it.
Oh, it's fascinating, but that's kind of old now. Like he's come out with new books that have even more stuff.
Yeah.
He even I don't think it's been accepted, but something super interesting was like he was saying the rotation of the Earth speeds up in the fall, and that's part of why the days get shorter, because all the trees drop their leaves. And so it's like when you're on like what are those things called that spin around like at the playground?
I know what you're talking about.
It's not a merry-go-round, is it?
Yeah, merry-go-round.
So when you're standing up, it spins slower. But then if you bend down and you lay down on it, you start spinning faster. Like the momentum.
Yep.
It gathers speed. So he's saying like when the trees drop all their leaves, the earth actually spins a little bit faster. But what I was thinking about is like, okay, but that's only the northern hemisphere. And then when it's not fall in the northern hemisphere, it's fall in the southern hemisphere. So it seems like it would balance out. But that was kind of an interesting point that he made. But I don't think it's
an interesting concept for sure.
Yeah.
I like people who think.
For sure. That's how like the best science comes out, like creative thinking, and then you try to prove it.
Right.
That's right.
Paul, you got something to share with us?
Yeah.
Ooh, oh, I know what that is. Just
new.
Looking at the color. I know that one.
Looks red and juicy.
Oh, it is red and juicy, boys. So this right here, my friends, Mortalis. I thought fitting for the Thanksgiving episode here is it's the Diner Pie series.
Oh, I love that. So good.
Yeah, it's the blueberry peach something. Blueberry peach lemon. Yep, vanilla, coconut, and granola. I mean, this is going to be crazy.
Dude, it is so good. It is so fucking good.
It's amazing.
Mike drank that one on the Halloween episode?
Yeah, the Halloween episode. Yeah, dude, so good.
You can really taste the lemon.
Yep.
You can really taste the coconut, the granola.
Blueberry kind of comes through in the end, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty tasty, guys.
Yeah, wait till it warms up just a little bit too. It's like it opens up.
Yeah.
Wow.
I haven't tried that one
nice.
yet.
That's super nice. Cheers. I'm glad I picked this one.
Cheers, man.
Enjoy
yeah, it's
that.
so good.
You earned it, boss.
That's right.
You're gonna need it for the next image when you rail your ass.
All right, let's see it.
Well,
Yeah,
actually, we
let's do
got
it.
one more right now. We'll rail Mike's ass first.
Oh, baby. Mike, where's that at?
It's only on
That's
Instagram.
about-
It's not on his website.
It's about 2 miles from my house.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I would have sent you the real picture without the bullshit white border.
Well, in
I have to
the
do for
video,
Instagram.
I'll replace it. But I wanted it to be a
All right.
surprise for this. I didn't want you to know what I selected. I wanted you to be anxious and stress out about it.
Dude, I 100%
Nervous.
knew that you were going to select this picture. I had
No
no
way.
doubt that you were going to. Yeah, I did 100%. The reason why is because before, like, we even knew each other, before you were even following me on Instagram, you commented on it and posted it. In
I'm
your
not even
story.
following you now, am I?
No.
Yeah, you are. Shut the fuck up.
Oh,
So anyway,
that must have been an accident.
unfollow.
I paid some website to grow my
You were until I blocked you. But
It was
no,
the
but
Bennett
like
bot.
so anyway, yeah. So that I had a feeling you were going to choose this one.
It's funny you still remember that
I'll
because
leave it
I
at
don't.
that.
It was like I saw it for the first time when I found it just now.
Yeah, well, dude, I'm just like a fucking ham and egger here, dude. Here you are, Eric Bennett, all of a sudden sharing my photo. I was like, what the
No,
fuck?
it's
Must
the
be
wrong
pretty
account.
good.
It's Erica B0069. That's the Instagram.
Oh, right, yeah. Shit.
Well, I'm
Your
pretty
ass is phenomenal.
I'm pretty photographically promiscuous, so I look at a lot of stuff. So I'd be surprised if I. Well, I don't know. A lot of it sticks in my mind. I don't think I remembered this one though. When I saw this, I was like, oh damn, Mike's actually done something decent.
Yeah. No, you like right when I posted it, like 2 years ago, you commented on it and you shared this one. So,
This one's from
At least you're-
2021.
at least your tastes are consistent. Yep.
Nice. Yeah, no. I really liked how you handled this one because you got like direct light hitting the top of the tree and then the shadows, and I like the fact that the shadows are pretty blue, but they're just at that limit where it's like it doesn't look bad because it can look bad like really easily when you have too much saturation in blue shadows, especially with snow. But
Right.
if it had been more neutral, it just wouldn't have had the same contrast. And I don't know, it kind of has like a film look. Like a lot of film stuff has really blue shadows, and that's kind of what this reminds me of. But yeah, I feel like you did this really tastefully, and the composition's nice. Obviously, the weather conditions and lighting are sick. But yeah, I really like this one. So
This is dope.
yeah, I don't know.
I've never
it's
seen
kind
it.
of
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Any
This-
interesting stuff happen around this? Was this is
No,
in Vermont? you said?
it was a pretty it was in Vermont. This is the vast majority. Like if you look at not my website per se, but like my Instagram, 90% of my photos are taken within 5 miles of my house. I would say maybe 10 miles. I mean, obviously not the stuff I've been posting recently from Badlands, but this was very close to my house. I was just driving out on one evening one day, and it was November. And what happens a lot around here in November is that you get these wet, heavy snows, and they're a pain in the ass because they break branches and knock out power and do all this damage. But
Yeah.
The scenery that it creates is amazing, like this, because the snow just stick to the branches because it's so wet and heavy. And this was just up a back road near my house. It's probably about 100 millimeters, so it wasn't very far away. And the sun was just going down behind the mountain that's behind. There's kind of a little bit of a valley off to the right, and the sun was just settling down in that valley at the end of the day, which created the lighting that was there. And I think I shot this from the. I don't even know that I got out of my car. Like I think I just pulled over, like rolled down the window.
Really?
ISO 640 and shot it because it was that fleeting. It was that ephemeral. And so, yeah, that's pretty much the story of this image. Not too much else to add to it, but
Is that
So,
like
It's
a
good
little
conditions.
lens flare in the top right corner, or is that like
it is.
Okay.
It is. There's a little bit of lens flare, and then there's actually some lens flare which I lightened up a little bit over the center of the tree. Which kind of gives it a little bit of a, you know, and I kind of struggled with that. It was like, I don't know.
Well, I think the lens flare in the top right corner looks cool. Like that's what I was asking because I feel like it's kind of like a rule, like you're not supposed to have a lens flare, and like people do all this stuff to like get rid of lens flares, like covering the sun or like, you know, part of the frame of their finger and then blending it in. But sometimes you can just make it work. And
I mean, part of the reason why it's not on my website is because I was just never that sure of it as an image because of that. But, you know, I liked it and I liked the tree. I photographed this tree, actually kind of what you were talking about earlier, Paul, I think when, you know, photographing a tree in multiple seasons. I've actually photographed this tree pretty much in every season for sure. So I like the tree. I like the structure of it. Yeah. This is just one of the resulting images.
So it looks like, is it a willow, Mike? Or it's hard to tell.
Yeah, it is a willow, actually. Yeah, no, it's definitely a willow. Yep.
Yeah, it's got like the hanging needle things.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stringy.
So cool. So had it been snowing all day and then it finally cleared at night or in the late afternoon?
Yep, it did. It was right after this may have even been honestly Thanksgiving Day. And it was it wasn't a very it looks heavier, I think, than it was, the snowstorm. It was only about like 2 to 3 inches at the most. So there wasn't really a lot of snow. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There wasn't a lot of snow on the ground. Like a lot of the snow was just kind of like on the trees. It's kind of a light early season.
Paul's either zoning out right now or he's looking it up and investigating.
I'm trying to look it up right now.
Oh, you got to go way down in his Instagram feed.
Yeah, it's too.
Mike used to be a lot better, and now it's just buried in all this trash he's been shooting lately. He sold out for his hedge fund friends.
Yeah.
It's way down there, dude.
Just shooting what they ask for now.
Dude, it's way down there. It's like I'm scrolling, dude.
He's a hired gun.
Why don't you make like a secondary website if you're so scared about like putting in all this amazing work to your current website?
Dude, to be honest with you,
website.
So if you look at December 23rd, 2021, there's another image like pretty much from the same road that's kind of the same. I don't know where this one is. I don't. It's not that I'm scared. It's honestly it's just I'm too lazy to update my website, you know, and that's kind of what's out there. The gallery that, you know, sells my stuff, that's all she wants. She doesn't want, you know, nature stuff. She wants the barns. She wants the covered bridges.
Dude, your IG fucks. I mean, it's so solid.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it.
I'm serious. I'm like scrolling down this thing. I'm like, you are such a fucking douche. I mean, the stuff is great.
Seriously, though.
Pretty much the same thing I thought with all your guys' shit.
It's great, dude.
It's night and day.
Yeah, get hot, bro.
Yeah. I gotta update that.
Take some of those nitro hits and get hot.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't know. This one's on there somewhere. It's on there somewhere. I remember it because Eric Bennett shared it.
That was a big deal for you, huh?
I'm surprised you didn't delete it after.
Dude,
that.
I'm not even. I won't even sugarcoat it. Like, not that I feel like I like to kiss your ass, but at the time it was a big deal for me. It was a huge deal.
It's not a big deal anymore. You don't got the same respect for me now.
Nah. No, man, it's always, dude. Honestly, it's always like real talk. Like, it's always a big deal. Like when any of you guys like or share my shit, because I respect the hell out of all of your guys' work. But you know, at the time, this stood out to me. You know, just because you did. You know, we conversed back and forth. In fact, I sent you a message and I was like, "Hey, dude, thanks, man. I appreciate you sharing that." And you're like, "Yeah." And you had asked me something about it, and you're like, "Hey, I'm backpacking for the next week. Like, I'll get back to you, like whatever." And
that's just what I say when I don't want to talk to people.
Probably.
Bennett never backpacks.
Dude, I don't blame you at that point. Yeah,
it gets him off the hook for 7 days.
Has he ever been on a hike? I don't think so.
No, he's shooting from a motorhome window. Zinger.
Yeah. Bang.
That's actually a burn against me because I can't afford a motorhome to shoot out of. So that's like a double burn.
A roast.
You can. Those things are like $200,000 now.
Yeah. And such a pain in the ass to drive around, and
Massive.
hitch and unhitch, and
Yeah, you need a shag and wagon Bennett.
I'll stick
There
on my
you go.
Tacoma.
Yeah, buddy.
What kind of truck do you have, Mike?
I have a Dodge Ram 1500.
Oh, okay, because you tow a little like teardrop trailer or something. I think you mentioned it.
Yeah, like an off-road teardrop trailer. It's a Dodge Ram Rebel, so it's got like I'm big into off-roading. I do a ton of off-road. I have a Jeep too, which is not. I mean, I could drive it on the road, but it's not my daily driver. But Dodge Ram's got a bunch of off-road stuff on it. It's got like a lock-in rear differential and 33-inch tires, so I can get it places, and that's what I tow my trailer with. So
Paul, you got a badass Forerunner, and then Jimmy for sure probably has a fucking Prius or like a Tesla or something.
Subaru.
It's a Subaru.
I didn't want to be
it's
that stereotypical and say Subaru.
it's lifted.
Lifted Subaru?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got neon ground effects on that thing, and the wheel wells are lit with LED lights too. That thing is awesome. I put in a straight pipe and a glass pack on the back.
That way all the
too.
photographers, all the
Atta
Astro
buddy.
Bros run when you pull up at night, all lit up.
They will hear me coming from like Minnesota if you're out in Zion.
Clear out the spot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good stuff.
Mike sent this one, but I'd already chosen it. Paul,
Yeah.
So
Had to battle this one.
I
Had
had
to
to
battle
fight
this
him
one over there. Yeah.
he was all over
Yeah.
it, man.
This is ridiculous, Paul.
He was saying
So
some
fucking
raunchy
good.
things about it.
Yeah, that was a dope ass morning right there.
So this is just Death Valley, like this the Mesquite Dunes, or
Yeah, some skeet.
this is a super unique image, even though those dunes get shot to death.
Yeah, it's we got out there early in the morning before the light came up, and we're just, you got your headlamp on, you're just kind of wandering around trying to put some shit together. And
Still finishing your beer from the night before.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can't even remember who's. I think it was definitely Bellino and I think Dustin, Gent, Cram, Connor, my son was with us, and you're just kind of wandering around out there in the dunes trying to look for something a little bit different.
Does Connor
And,
take pictures ever at all?
He does. He's got a I'm always busting his balls because I was looking I grabbed one of his cards like a week ago, and I'm like looking through it, like an Iceland trip he took with me, and Death Valley, Canada. I mean, he goes to all these crazy places. He just doesn't really do anything with the images. And I'm like, dude, you need to come over, and we should just do he's a little bit weak in the processing part of it. So I'm like, we should just do like a little processing party, if you will, and like work through some of your stuff, because he's got he knows how to work the camera, and he knows
Right.
how to focus, stack, and blend and exposure and all that stuff. He just doesn't put in the time in Photoshop. So he could have a pretty cool portfolio. Yeah, but this was a fun day. It was a fun morning, and yeah, the spot was pretty badass. Things kind of lined up for me there.
Yeah, this one's really sick.
Yeah, for sure.
This makes me think
So
moonlight. Is it just early sunrise or?
Early sunrise. When you first get that light that comes up over the side there, and it just
Well,
It's
Jimmy
that-
has no idea. He's never been out here, but
No,
yeah. I mean, dude, dunes are. I mean,
it's not
dunes.
true.
Dunes are so fun to shoot. I mean, this is Mesquite, but we did
so fun.
last time we were there. I think this last spring, but we did what are the dunes that are a little bit deeper? Wairika and
Eureka and Ibex.
Ibex?
yeah, we did some deeper stuff that there's really nobody there, and they're pretty massive, and we had a pretty good wind. I mean, I haven't even looked at those images yet, like where you get that really nice glowing sand and all that stuff. They're just super, man, they're fun to shoot. You just kind of
That's
point your
awesome.
camera in all these different areas. It's great.
Dude, Jimmy, are you sure you can't come out in February with me?
I will. I'll
teaching,
look
man.
again.
I think you've got some scheduled COVID coming up.
It's the
Starting
third
around the
round.
Third.
That'll be like
Yeah.
the fifth time he's had it.
Ah,
Yeah.
Jimmy, you would love it. I mean, I don't know. It's there's so much stuff to shoot there. It's just so
Jimmy,
fun.
dude, I want to get you out there so bad, man. It's dude, you'd eat it up. I know you would.
Oh man, I would love to, but this was honestly taken in the sandbox, wasn't it, Paul?
It was. I was just rolling
Trail
around
back.
in it.
Yeah.
I was totally rolling around in it.
I love how you went with like the heavy shadows here. This is a scenario where it works perfectly. Gives a scene like a lot of mystery, really simplifies it by just having like the ridges illuminated, showing off that nice symmetry in the composition. And then something trippy about this is like if you look at like the dunes in the middle that like sweep down and then back up, on the left side, it like ends and it looks like it's the edge of the frame. But then if you go down to the bottom dune that's illuminated in the bottom left corner, it keeps going past that one. It's kind of trippy.
Yeah, it is trippy.
Like the light just stopped hitting that dune for some reason and it just goes black. But it
Well, I
looks
think
like,
that dune that's in the foreground goes beyond it because it looks like unless that's shit in my monitor. Like,
no, that's what I'm saying.
That-
like the light
yeah.
just stops there.
yeah,
It's like this hard
That's
shadow
awesome.
line where it
Yeah.
looks like the edge of the frame, but then the bottom dune tells you otherwise.
That's when I shot this. That's what I was really focusing on. Is just like I really loved that side light up top on
Yep.
the prominent spot there, and then just something down below that kind of just pulls you through the image, kind of pulls you through the middle of the scene.
Yeah, it's just so well balanced. You know, there's just so much subtle flow. The curves are great. I'll be honest with you. So I had an image that last time I was on Death Valley, which was January 2022, not 2021, 2021. Sorry, and I was envisioning this sort of thing. The composition was different, but I was envisioning this sort of thing. And even though I shot like 60 frames of it, I could not pull it together in post. And so what I was envisioning was something so similar to this with the dark shadows and the rim highlights and all of that. And I just could not get it together. So I ended up not doing anything with the image because as hard as I tried to get it, it just wasn't working. And so when I saw this, I was like this is exactly what I was picturing with that image, because that image has kind of haunted me ever since. And so that's why this image, amongst all of the great images you put out, Paul, is like really stood out to me, because it was like a little bit of jealousy mixed in there, because this is exactly what I wanted to do with this image in my mind that I just couldn't pull it off the way you did.
I'm not surprised that you couldn't get it to work.
Neither am I, dude. To be honest with you, neither am I.
You'll pull it off, dude. I mean, this is
hard. I mean, it's hard to work with that kind of highlights and shadows and stuff and make it look right. You know, like
Right.
black out too much. I don't know. That's good.
I think the secret.
good.
I'm gonna throw Mike a bone, and then Paul, you can explain if this isn't correct. But
Yep.
I think the secret with like this kind of look is like dropping the exposure in camera raw, like really lower the exposure, and then bring the highlights back with the white slider. So it just really pumps those up, because otherwise, if you just try to like drop the blacks super far, you get this really weird contrast. Whereas, you know, if you just like darken the entire scene and then raise up the highlights by themselves, it doesn't get all, it'll be a lot more uniform, and you won't have like weird transitions and stuff.
Exactly. I mean, most of the work was in the field, and then it's just one of those deals where you shoot it right in the field based on what your vision is, and then it was a fairly easy edit. And
Nice.
Bennett's taught me that, because like he doesn't spend a lot of time editing his stuff, and I used to like build Frankenstein shit, and so now it's more like when I'm in the field, I'm shooting to make my life easier in post, because I like being in the field. I don't like doing post shit, and so it kind of just speeds up all that stuff.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, literally. I mean, that's a really big deal for me. It's kind of just changed my whole the way. It's changed the way I shoot, and it's changed the way I love photography, because I mean, photography really isn't meant to be like constructed behind the scenes on a computer. You know, it's meant to be, hey,
Right.
get it right in the field, tighten it up in post, boom.
Fun.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I like to shoot now. But yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy post processing a lot. I mean, I think my tutorial videos show that I'm really passionate about it because they're all pretty. I mean, there's tons of techniques and stuff that I share in those, but I just feel like nowadays it just gets sloppy if you throw too many adjustments at it, and so I just try to be like really concise and only do what is necessary and nothing more. So it's not that I don't like post processing, but yeah, I'm pretty sure using a computer is pretty tough for Paul. So
It's super tough, dude. I mean, I gotta like.
Yeah.
he has a hard enough time getting on Zoom calls.
Yeah.
I know. I'm stroking the buttons.
Yeah, it's you can fuss over like these minutia little details, and ultimately who's looking at it, and will they even notice or care? And no,
That's it.
most likely.
That's it.
Unless
I mean,
they're-
I mean, there's so many times I've I'll always start off in camera raw, and like I'll get a photo to a point, and then I'll be over in Photoshop, and I'll spend like a ton of time in Photoshop, and I send it back, and I'm like, yeah, it really doesn't look that much different than what I did in camera raw, like
Yeah.
or Lightroom or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just
Right.
it really doesn't. Like for the
Yeah.
hour spent tinkering around with it.
I mean, there's definitely some fun in like processing a really challenging image. You're like, it's putting like a puzzle together. It's fun, but it's also, it's kind of nice just not having like, being so heavy handed and just kind of being able to knock out a bunch of images in a short amount of time. So,
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I just get out and shoot a lot. Like that's the main reason I have a lot of images on my portfolio. It's not that I'm like super attached to stuff and I never get rid of things. I get rid of images all the time, and like there's tons of work that I even process and never post anywhere because I just curate it. But I just shoot like such a high volume of images. I really can't afford to spend that much time either because I like I need to be able to process like I mean I probably processed like 12 images in a day a couple days ago of like new fall stuff just because if
Cool.
not, it's just never gonna get done. Because I'm by the time I'm done processing that stuff, like I already have like 100 new files that I need to like throw through the grinder, that I shot like the day after. So
dude, you have so much inventory that no one's even ever seen. I mean, it's just like, that's what's cool. Like your book's about to come out, and there's so much stuff in that book that
yeah,
literally no one has ever seen. It's going to be like, this is the first time. I think that's really killer.
we'll see.
Yeah, it's
We'll
rad.
see how it blows over. But I also have like 7 other galleries besides the 120 or so images in that book of like 30 image galleries that I haven't released yet. Like
That's super cool.
and
That's
then
like-
tons of stuff that I'm editing right now. Like and then
That's
I'm about to
nice.
start shooting like in southern Utah again, like this fall and winter. So there's like another 100 images right there. Maybe like I'm not saying this to like brag, it's just like overwhelming.
No.
Since I do this full time, like I literally am just always shooting stuff.
No, it's cool that you can like stay ahead like that. And I like the way you do it. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like I'm full-time. I'm a full-time teacher, but I have this long commute that I do every day. And I can't tell you, like, it's almost like every day, see something along the drive that's like, oh, that would make a great photograph.
Always.
It's got to be so easy to just keep adding all these, amazing new images that really speak to you, and then just not be able to get them because, I'm sure it adds up so fast. And
Yeah, I have a really big backlog right now, but just from this year alone, like it's not that I'm like super behind. It's just like I made so many photos this year that I still have to go through on different trips, and
that's great.
also like since I have such great stuff locally, if the weather's like super interesting, I can head out that day. Like I don't. It's not just like okay, I took time off work for 2 weeks. I'll be there when I'm there, and things will be how they are. It's like, I mean, I just go out a lot anyways without paying attention to conditions. But like if I wake up and it's snowing and there's aspens with like red and orange leaves, like I'll just go up there and shoot it. And it's like incredible conditions that lend themselves to making hundreds of photographs.
Right. That's
You
like
suck.
Mike and I are probably the same boat. Like
You
just
suck, dude.
so much locally.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
But like if you got to go to work,
I think
can't,
there's
like, go out and shoot that weather that day or something. Like I don't really have that many obligations other than just being a dad.
Yeah, there's so much, and I think there's a lot of value to, I mean, what I do to kind of offset that, the fact that I can't always be out with my camera, is when I am driving those places. And I do, it's funny you say that, Jimmy, because it always seems like it's in the morning on my way to work. Like I drive through this little valley and there's always this kind of inversion and like low-lying mist. I'm like, oh, this is like phenomenal. But I'm always just in my mind taking the photo, right? So from a less experienced photographer's point of view, it's good practice to do that. Like just look at the scene and be like, how would I compose that real quick? Even while you're driving by at 45 miles an hour, whatever it is, like look at the scene, compose it in your mind. Yeah, I don't have my camera. I don't have time to stop and actually make a photo out of this, but like just kind of do that. And that exercise in even of itself, as far as advancing your craft, is definitely invaluable. And I do that all the time.
I listened to a really good interview that Matt Payne did with Clyde Butcher the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And he said something that I resonated with so much, but he put it like really simply because he's been doing this a lot longer than I have. He said, I don't compose with the camera, I compose with this. And that's exactly how I am too. Like I'll just see something and it's not like I'm like, okay, like now I'm gonna experiment and see how I can turn it into a photo. It's usually like a photo and then I choose the equipment that will create that photo.
Right.
Like I've already chosen the
Sure.
lens and everything in my mind before I even touch any of my equipment.
Yep. That totally resonates.
Like that's the most important thing you can learn as a photographer, just learning how to see, not with your camera. Like the camera is just like what you use to write it down. Like that's just like the paper and the pen to record
Right.
what you've already created in your mind. You've already made all those decisions and things before you even attempt to mechanically capture it.
So what you're saying is when someone says you must have a really nice camera, they're wrong.
I wouldn't go that far, Paul.
That's the worst line ever.
Yeah, it's funny when people say like, "Oh, that camera takes really good pictures." They're like,
So insulting.
No.
Pull up behind you when you're on the side of the highway photographing a pine cone.
No, the worst line is let me show you this photo I took with my phone. It's got to be the fucking worst. Like, all right,
I get that all the time. Oh my god!
I'm sure you do with all the art fairs you do. Oh yeah, that photo's cool. Let me show you this one I took with my phone the other day, and it's like 98% blocked out shadows, like a little bit of a sun. Like, oh my god, fuck you.
"Hey, these shadows are 98% blocked out, man. You hating on this, Mike?"
No, but this is artistically done. Like,
do the right thing, Mike.
Good save, Mike.
Hey,
Good
Paul,
save, Mike.
did you take this with your iPhone, Paul? I mean, come on.
No, I took this with my Cricket flip phone.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
You jitterbug?
I nailed it. Slayed it.
You did. You did.
Oh,
This
baby.
one's
Nice.
really trippy. I've never
I
seen
love
this
this
one before
one.
from Jimmy.
I've never seen
Yeah,
that.
so I chose this one. He posted this a couple weeks ago, and immediately I commented. I was like, "Oh, this is a new
We're on
favorite."
Instagram. Where'd you dig this up from?
Yeah,
I
no,
bought
it's just
it
on
off-
Instagram.
Oh,
And so yeah, I immediately commented. I was like, "This is definitely a new favorite." Like I love. So first of all, let me back up. Looking at Jim's work on Instagram or on his website or whatever electronic media is truly doing it a disservice, because having been to his house where he's got all of his large scale, large format prints on a wall is really truly impressive to see. And so any of his images that you look on Instagram, they look so much better printed big, and that it really is actually a testament to his skill as a photographer. One of which I have hanging above my bed in my bedroom. Big, I don't know how wide that is, Jim, but it's big. His photos print so well, and they have so much impact when they're printed that way. But I love this image because of the shapes. The strong triangle in the bottom, the round balls, in bokeh, balls of light or whatever in the background. It just, there's something about it that just kind of spoke to me. It's simple. There's not a lot to get lost in. You just kind of appreciate the nature of the photo, and that's something that I think Jim does really well with his photos. Is just kind of boil things down to their essence, whether he's doing that through intentional camera movement or multiple exposure or whatever. It just boils the scene down and the photos down to their essence and allows you to appreciate them for what they are. And this image with the shapes being, kind of prominent features really did that for me. So yeah, an instant favorite. I love this photo. Love to see you print it. So yeah.
Super
Jesus
cool.
Christ, man, you didn't say any of that about my image.
That's
good.
That's $60, not 50.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward.
Finding out favorites.
Jimmy hit the tip on that one.
Yeah. It was the
You
threat
just
of
suck it
no
up
more
to him
beer.
because Jimmy has access to the Fidens.
Exactly. You got to keep in his good graces for sure.
Jimmy, wait till you hear what I say about your photo, man. You're gonna be really pleased with me.
Yeah, well, I'm not. I'm out of boxes.
Talk to us about this. Talk to us about
Hey,
this,
hold
Jimmy.
on. I know you're about to say something great about your photo, but did I see you crack open another beer, Jimmy?
I did. Yeah. Sorry.
Yes.
While you guys were talking
that's
about
more
Paul's
important.
sandbox image there. So this one, it's hard to read backwards.
I'm gonna go get another one.
Label. So this is
backwards right now.
Yeah, it's almost a year old now. So this is a collaboration between Other Half and Burial, which we did in the Halloween episode there. It's Velvet Magnum 6.
How is that one? How did you get that? Because that was like in a special. Did you trade for that?
No, I managed to get my hands on a couple I think at least one bottle. Like they had that stout release, and so it came with a few other ones that were okay.
Yeah, it was a package deal.
Yeah, that 9th anniversary bottle was in there, I think.
How was that? I've always wanted to try that beer.
This one's really nice. I wasn't sure what to expect. So it was aged in bourbon barrels. So Imperial Stout with macadamia, coconut squares, macaroon cut coconut, Tahitian vanilla like Mike's was, and then macadamia nuts, coffee, and cinnamon.
Damn, dude, that sounds great.
And you can.
It does.
It's not super thick, but you can pick out pretty much everything that's in there. I mean, it's not overpowered by any one of those adjuncts. The coconut's a little strong, but that doesn't bother me at all.
Did you say the percentage?
No, I didn't. Let me just see here. So it's 14 and
15?
a half.
14.
Yeah, 15 essentially. But that's really nice. If that one comes out
Any booze
again,
on that one?
No, not at all. It's super
Yeah.
smooth.
Nice.
Yeah. And it
I think a lot of
smells
people
amazing.
think like if it's high alcohol, it's gonna taste horrible. But that's like what makes great craft beer impressive. They can hide it really well.
Yeah. And it's just, I appreciate the fact that it's so balanced because feels like you're not tasting like suntan lotion or
Right.
eating a cinnamon stick or something
Right.
like that. So they got it right on that one. So
Sounds
if that
great,
one comes
dude.
out, again, I would grab it.
They do that every year.
Man, that sounds good.
All right, so what's going on here, Jimmy? How many tabs of acid went into making this image?
Oh, God.
You peyote chewing motherfucker.
It's a secret.
That is so good. He's wandering around the fucking desert. Just freaking dripping.
Totally fucking naked. Like,
Middle of winter.
You can
man.
get sunburned doing that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that was awful.
Oh my god. That is so good, Eric.
totally naked with his camera.
Exactly.
Not a tripod anywhere. Yeah.
How did you see this? I mean, what is going on here, dude?
It is wild. When I saw the scene, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So I'm at a beach, and what's happening here is that low tide is rolling out, and so at this one beach, it creates at low tide, there's like this stream that flows down the sand, and it's wide. It's about like 5 or 6 feet wide.
So that's
And it
water
just-
in the background with like sunlight
Yeah.
sparkling.
So the water is about 12, 14 inches below the edge of that sand. And so the sand edge there is created by the water moving underneath it. And so it's seconds away from falling into the water. You know, as it's all rolling out, it's just constantly like falling in, and the whole stream kind of widens out. But yeah, it was midday light. We're probably there like noon or 1 o'clock. And then the ripples in that stream of tidal water going out was creating all these bokeh balls, you know, so just opened it wide. I was really struggling with the focus though. You can see the tip of that mountain is all kind of fuzzy, but
it's still like, it doesn't matter. And that's like one of the things that like I'm really trying to embrace with my photography, especially with images like this, is like, you know, fuck focus. Like an image like this is about the feel. It's about the, you know, how it comes across on that initial impression. Like you can, you know, look at it with a magnifying glass and be like, oh, that grain of sand is out of focus. And like, I've gotten rid of so many like decent images because of that I'm kicking myself afterwards. So like, this image is about feel. And so
What do you mean gotten rid of them? Like you deleted them permanently? Or?
Well, I don't know. I probably didn't delete them permanently, but they're somewhere in the archives of my, you know, 12 terabyte hard drive that, you know, like I'll probably never find again. But like I just skipped over them, you know, because I was like, oh, it's you know, it's not totally in focus, or it's not in focus exactly where I want it to be. But like, it doesn't matter. Like an image about this is like feel. Like it's about first impression. It's about how it strikes you as the viewer, wondering what it is and how it impacts you. Fuck focus, like focus, you know, like whatever.
So it was, you know, it was wide open, so that, you know, at maybe like at 2.8, maybe 150 to 180, and so I didn't have a lot of wiggle room to deal with because I'm standing, or I couldn't get too close because it was going to fall in any second. So I got a bunch of frames, and this is the one that had kind of the bokeh balls well distributed, like stars in the sky, kind of.
Yeah, and like had it been F14 or 16, well, like it wouldn't have been the same, you know, like
No,
you kind of have to. I mean, if it's a static scene and it's a grand landscape and it's trees and mountains and fine, like it should be pretty sharp and in focus, but it's not for a photo like this. So, I mean, I love it. I love it exactly as it is. I wouldn't change a thing about it.
Yeah, I always say like as long as the most important thing is in focus. That way, like you can rest your eye on it. Because if it's not completely in focus, it's just distracting. Because it's like you feel like it's like your eye goes there, but you can't like appreciate the details. You know, like it's not. I know it's kind of awkward, but as long as it's like always done intentionally, like I feel like this. You know, you got the main part of it in focus, which is where is most important, and then the background is like intentionally out of focus. Because that's another thing too. Like when something is like just kind of like you either got to go like, you know, throw it completely out of focus sometimes, or, you know, get it completely sharp, because right in the middle can just look kind of like accidental and be distracting. But
yeah, like you're on a peyote trip or something.
Exactly.
This is cool though. I like how it it resembles like a sand dune or like a mountain, and then there's like maybe like a starry sky behind it, or, you know, clouds. It's just really abstract because you can't tell what it actually is right away, or even at all, without your explanation behind it.
Right.
But it just allows your imagination to run wild and conjure up all these ideas about it.
Absolutely.
That's cool. Yeah. Looking forward to trying a print of it. I haven't gotten there yet, but
yeah, your images print so well. I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, this is cool.
It's funny because we all know each other's work, we all follow each other, but I'd never seen this image from Jimmy before. So like,
I hadn't either.
It's kind of a testament to the show. Like, you know, throwing stuff up on here, stuff just gets lost, like in the
it really does.
In the churning,
I know when I was looking through Mike's and really all three of yours. I'm like, I didn't see this come through, So.
So fuck the Instagram algorithm, you know what I mean? Like, Jesus.
Yeah, we're fighting against it.
Really are.
Yeah.
Super funny that you chose this one, Jimmy, because this like kind of frustrating, honestly, because this is from like
Kind of frustrating.
This is from like 2016. I had been shooting for like 2 years. It's still on my website because I like it. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I'd probably process it like slightly different now, but like not enough to where like I don't really go back and reprocess old images that I keep on my website because it's kind of cool just to like show like, my style back then, or like, how things change. Like, people can see my progression. Unless something's really bad and I really like the image, I'll go back and completely reprocess it. But like, I've been shooting fall color in the canyons here in Utah for years now, and you chose like one of my earliest photos of it. So, like, all my hard work.
It's totally frustrating, dude. That's the best line.
With the Orton effect all applied in there and stuff.
It's like he was trying to push my buttons.
He's trying to fuck with you.
But since this is my image, I'm going to introduce this beer that I just cracked from TF Brewing, Template Family Brewing here in Salt Lake City, my favorite brewery in Utah. And this is their Jesse Del Mar Stout, which is a stout that they do year round. But they do variations of it like around Christmas. So this can is actually like a year old now. I don't think it has a date, but it's from last winter, and I'd been sitting on it. I tried one before, so I tasted it fresh. But I had a second can that I don't usually drink cans of stouts like by myself. So like I always like wait for a buddy to come over to split them because it's just too much, a full can, because you can't like save it for the next day like you can with a bottle. But yeah, finally cracked this one open. This one has graham cracker, chocolate, and marshmallow, and it's 12%. So basically it's like s'mores, and you definitely get that flavor. Even now after like a year, it's hung on pretty well. So
that's awesome.
Can really taste the marshmallow and graham cracker.
Really? That sounds really good, dude.
It does sound good.
Do they do a lot of that style, Eric, or?
They don't do a ton of stouts. Usually in the winter they'll do like 3 or 4 different ones. They've started doing like more pastry style stouts. They did a really good one early last year that I took a photo of. I think I sent you some pictures. I did like some product photography for them just for fun.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I had like a coconut with like the stout pouring out of it into a glass. That one had like coconut and banana, and it was really thick and good. So yeah,
I thought it was almost as good as this one. Sorry.
All right.
Sorry, not sorry. There's something, I don't know. Oh dear. Sorry, trying to keep it at least somewhat G-rated.
Hey, I blew that an hour ago.
There's something very something very erect about this particular one.
This image?
Yeah. Can't quite put it down.
Did it turn you on, Jimmy?
No.
Yeah, what made you want to choose this one? I'm baffled.
Yeah, no, actually what made me choose this one is that one of the things I really enjoy about nature photography is scenes where it makes you stop and you're like, what is going on here? Like, what happened?
It's that bad, huh?
Yeah, like what was the guy thinking?
What went wrong?
Was the camera broken?
How much peyote?
Right. But and just I haven't traveled that much. I'm usually kind of like in the Northeast, and so we just don't see scenes like this. And it's clearly like post fire. It's successional forest coming back in. But yeah, it just made me just all kinds of questions about what was going on here.
Yeah, I mean it was. I don't know when it burned down, but I was just shooting around my house with my buddies Mark Handy and Jimmy Geekus. They were staying with me that year. They came out like 2 or 3 fall seasons, and I think this was the second season that they came out. And yeah, we were just out shooting. And I was like, oh, I've seen these like burned up aspen trees before. We should go check them out. And we went over there, and the undergrowth was like pretty colorful. This is actually really hard to shoot. There's like a lot more to it than this, but when I included more, it just got way too chaotic, and so I had to like isolate this little section that was somewhat uniform and had some flow to it. But yeah, not much to it really.
And
I love it, and I think like Eric, I think your reaction to it, I think it's something that we probably all experience, or at least I know I do, which is like your older images, the more you look at them, obviously you thought something of them at one point, enough to put it on your website and put it out there, but like,
well, no, there's
the more
nothing
you look
wrong
at
with
them,
it.
the
It's
more-
just like I feel like I've gotten better, and like I don't know, there's plenty of
Yeah.
stuff to choose from, like in the last few years.
Exactly, and you have gotten better, but it's still, to me, a phenomenal image, and I think exactly to what like Jimmy was saying, why he chose that. Like I love the contrast with the the regrowth of the new forest and the burnt out old trees, and I think strictly from a nature photography standpoint, it's a remarkable image as far as that's concerned. So. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I love it. I didn't see it. I don't know. Did you get this off the website or Instagram, Jimmy? Where'd you come
It's on my
across this one?
website.
Because I didn't see this.
Oh,
one.
his
Is it? Yeah.
MySpace account.
MySpace. Right.
It should be
Yeah.
in my Aspen portfolio. Otherwise, it's in my forest one, and I need to move it because I had so many images in my forest gallery that I had to split it into like forests and then aspens all on their own, because I shoot aspens like 8 months out of the year: fall, winter, spring, and they're all over.
Yeah. Well, I think it's cool. I think because of the process it captures. I mean, I know you may think, or you do think you have technically better photos and they're better composed and all of that as you've grown as an artist. But all that notwithstanding, I think the process, strictly from a nature standpoint, that this captures is great. The burnt out trees and the regrowth and all of that.
With you on that, Mike. That's
Why. I mean, I don't mind the image. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just
Your style's changed. It's not. It doesn't speak.
It doesn't speak exactly
Bennett.
like it.
No, I get it.
It's still sound
I
there.
get
It
it.
just doesn't reflect like. I mean, I would still shoot this kind of subject matter now, but it's just not as fresh. Like
Right.
it's got some wrinkles.
Right, and that's
but,
my point. It's like yeah, it's a little bit old. We all kind of look at our work that way.
But the reason
relative
it's
to our new
still
stuff.
in my portfolio, like I don't have that many 2016 images overall in my portfolio still, but this one has survived because I haven't like seen this kind of subject matter again to shoot it, like in a different way or try anything else. So like this spot, I think now it's like completely overgrown. Like I didn't even notice these this year when I drove. I must have driven past this spot several times because like I go by here all the time in this certain canyon, and I didn't even think about shooting it this past year or even last year. So yeah, it's probably not even similar anymore.
That's what I was just gonna say. It's it's not as ephemeral as the snow that Mike shot on that willow, but it sure is ephemeral. Like 2 years before you shot this, or now, totally different.
Right.
Stuff's gonna grow in so fast.
Right. That's crazy how fast like other species will take over once a section clears up.
Yeah. Is the yellow stuff like left of center? Is that aspen coming back in, or are they going to take
I'm not.
over?
That might be a type of like willow brush.
Yeah, or alders.
That would make sense. Soft.
Not sure what
stuff.
it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's mostly like maples and oaks. I think it's actually all scrub oak. And then, yeah, those little yellow ones, I think that's like a type of willow brush or something.
So cool.
All right, who is the idiot that chose this one?
It was me.
Moron.
I like this dude. It's I really like the scene. I was shooting some of this stuff two, 3, 4 weeks ago at Mount Rainier at this lake where the water was kind of rolling in, and you have a lot of really great stuff on your website. I don't know why. I mean, this one really kind of gravitated towards this one. I had 2 or 3 of them picked out, but I just love the patterns and the lighting and the different things that were going on here.
Yeah, it must have been like some really dark bare trees like on the bank that are reflecting here. 'Cause you have
Exactly.
those like really dark,
Yep.
oily rings.
Right.
Exactly. In fact, Jimmy was the one who took me to this spot. When I made this photo, I was there by myself. But so, Jim, this is that place that we went a couple falls ago. That trail that leads to the edge of Lake George there.
Gotcha.
So this is on the shore of Lake George, and that's exactly right, Eric. There's a bunch of. It was probably late April that I was there, so the trees didn't have leaves on them yet, and they were overhanging the bank, and the lighting was just right. So I, just sat out there with my camera set to take, photos every couple of seconds, and just a couple of them came through. But I love the abstract nature of it. One of my favorite artists is Jackson Pollock, and this kind of, when I saw it raw on the back of the camera, just kind of the balance of it and the flow of it reminded me of a Jackson Pollock, and so I kind of ran with that. I love abstract photography. I love abstract art. Just something about this, when I saw it, I just kind of settled with it, and it's I would say almost an unedited photo. I did very little to it as far as editing is concerned. So it's just is what it is, and I liked it. It was probably the only thing I did is usually when I shoot scenes like this, I shoot them very high ISO. So this is probably shot about 3200 ISO. So I probably brought some denoise into it and softened that out. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah, Mike, we have to get back in there.
Yeah, we do.
In the dead of
I've been
winter,
there a couple of times.
Yeah, like when January and February hit, like when it's like really freaking bone chilling cold, we got to get in there because that waterfall is just.
That's a great waterfall.
It's gonna be insane.
Yeah, this is cool though. This one caught my eye too when I was looking through your website. What little work there is to enjoy, but one of the better ones here. I've seen like so many water abstracts, so when one like catches my eye, it really has to have like some kind of unique characteristic that I haven't seen before, because they do get pretty redundant. But like just these little like rings, the black rings are super cool. Yeah, I love like the ripples, and like kind of has a sense of depth here, kind of like like liquid dunes, and the clouds reflecting and all the colors, and yeah, it's really nice. I mean, I shoot a lot of water abstracts too, and then I never end up processing any of them.
Yeah, it's tough to sort through them all. The conditions were perfect on this day. I mean, there's several images that I made that day that I like. So sometimes
nice, like,
everything lines
subtle
up.
Composition here too, with like the soft diagonals from like bottom right to top left.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's kind of hard to find sometimes, like it just any kind of semblance of structure, because water just it changes like every 5 seconds. And
well, I mean, I think like when you're doing that, that's kind of what you have to do. You have to shoot fast, and you put your camera. I said every few seconds, and every handful of seconds, you just hold down the shutter, and it just takes 1,000 pictures like all at once. And then you just got to take the time later to sort through them and find one that's got some kind of, it's a little bit of spray and pray, I guess. But I don't know how else to approach, this type of photography. But you find one that's got some kind of compositional element.
It's too late.
It's gone.
Like
it's gone.
Right? Yeah.
If you see it and you try to capture it, it's too late. Like once you see it, it's gone.
Yeah. Right. So you kind of have to do that. You have to kind of spray and pray, and then
you can like kind of
time
anticipate
to go through 1,000 photos.
Like, the ripples are looking cool right now, but yeah, you just like shoot, and then later on dig through.
Yeah.
What were the skies like over your head, Mike?
They were partly cloudy. So there's
like some blue sky.
There's definitely some blue sky. There's like 50% blue sky, 50% clouds. It was a perfectly normal, partly cloudy day. Late April, I'm pretty sure it was April still.
Yeah, so it still sticks on the trees.
Yeah, it still sticks. Like, I mean, I'm hanging over a bank here. There was a log actually that I walked out on, and pretty thick tree that had been down over the water, and I kind of set up on that. So I was looking straight down at the water, and I was only about a foot offshore, but I was able to angle straight down for that.
Nice.
Yeah, that's how I did it.
That's dope, dude. Oh shit.
Yeah,
You just
so
posted this one on
yeah.
IG recently, right? Like a few
He
days ago?
just did, and I saw
But
it.
this is
and
an older
immediately
photo, I
loved
think.
it.
Yeah, it's old.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I found it digging around on his website.
So I love it nonetheless. Yeah, so you posted it the other day. I shared it on my story. I love this photo. I love snow like you, Paul. Winter's my favorite season to photograph. There's just something about snow that I just love. But one of the hardest things, one of the most frustrating things about photographing snow is getting that light, that highlight and shadow balance perfect. And in order to make a good winter image, that's what you got to do. And that's exactly what you did here. And it's so hard to do. And it's subtle. Like a lot of people, I think, may not appreciate it. But like this scene, it's particularly difficult because of these domes or moguls or whatever you want to call them that are creating so much light and shadow that must have been, like you said, I'm sure you probably 99% got it right in camera and then just tweaked it in post, but it's not easy to do. But I see why you took it. I love the composition. These kind of domes, these moguls, whatever, kind of flow right towards that tree, and then they kind of drift off into the background. Like, great image. I love this.
Yeah, it was really nice white balance and handling of the saturation here too. Because I feel like a lot of people, since there's sunlight, they'd go like warmer to try to like have warm and cool contrast, but it would just look weird. And then also, it's not like too blue. It is like pretty neutral while still having that cool feeling. That can be pretty tough to do.
So hard to do that. So hard to do.
Yeah, it's a weird spot because if you go by this at the wrong time of day, you look over and there's really nothing there that's visually pleasing. You know, you have to hit that right time of day where the shadows are available, and then you're like, okay, well, there's something there. So yeah, it's a fun spot.
So where is this? Like, what is this? Is it like what's creating these bumps or whatever?
So it's up by
like boulders covered in snow, right?
Yeah, it's up by Jasper in the Canadian Rockies there, and yeah, it's this massive boulder field, and I usually work that area. It's the ice. There's this Icefields Parkway area that goes from like Lake Louise to Jasper, which is 150 miles or whatever, and I'll just hang out on that road and camp out there for 4 or 5, 6 days, and just kind of make my way up to Jasper, and fortunately on this scene here, I think it was heading back south, and hit it at the right time of day. I think it was kind of late morning ish, where it offered up the nice shadows and the light, and yeah, it created a pretty cool scene.
So good.
Yeah, is this like a really tiny tree or medium?
Yeah, it's pretty small.
Okay.
Pretty small, and I'm probably it's probably a 70 to 200, and I'm probably on the long end of that, so it's a little ways out there.
You focus stack this?
No.
Okay.
No.
Pretty
Probably
sharp from front to back.
I mean, I probably could have, but
well, no, it looks sharp. That's what I'm saying. But it looks like there's like a lot of depth here because you're not like that high above it. It looks like you're kind of like almost eye level.
Yeah, I'm lazy with the focus stacking these days.
F32 and let it roll.
Oh, I do that.
Yeah. Bennett taught me that. He's just like, dude, just crank it up and grip it and rip it. And it's so much fun. It's like, I don't know, man. That's where I like to freaking dial it up now.
Yeah. I was never focus stack anymore. I fucking hate it. Same thing with exposure blending for that matter. But yeah, like I'm like F22, fuck it, who cares?
I shoot at F22 like all day long, and then.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah, and then if I can focus stack, I will. Or if it's just like moving foliage, I'll try f32 because sometimes there
Yeah.
isn't like a huge difference between f22 and f32. Like you don't get like that much more of the scene in focus,
Right.
but sometimes it can be just enough to fix it. Otherwise, I'll just be like, I'll just roll with the f22 and have it soft in the background, or yeah, I
Yeah.
can't focus stack.
Love
I could
it.
see
That's-
some people like shooting this. You know, there's a few boulders here that have like, I don't know if like the snow collapsed or it almost looks like tracks, you know.
Yep.
You know what that's from?
Yeah, snowmobile went over him.
No, and I'm glad you brought that up because for when I was first working on this, I was like, those kind of bothered me a little bit.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I could see somebody like not wanting to use this maybe because it has like those imperfections or
Yeah, it bothered me at first, especially the one that's kind of front and center there to the right.
Mhm.
But then I was like, you know what? That's how the scene was. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So it kind of adds another element to it where it's like, what did that? I mean, I think I'm thinking it was some kind of animal because those are fairly pronounced, but I don't
an
know
Arctic
where.
snake.
Yeah, it just doesn't go anywhere from there though. You know what I mean? It's not like you see
Right.
prints or
The maze just collapsed on its own.
That's what I'm thinking. Like
Yeah.
it's like the shape of the boulder and the snow
Yeah.
like finally sunk in.
yeah, some mystery.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me though. I just wanted to bring that up because
Right,
It was like what Bellino was saying in the other episode that we did about how like, you know, people will try to like they just won't take the photograph or they'll try to hide that or they'll clone that out or what, you know, whatever. And it's like, no, like that's what nature was doing at that time. It doesn't detract from the scene. You know, it's like, yeah, I love it. I think it helps the image, to be honest with you.
Right. Look too perfect otherwise.
Yeah, exactly.
maybe like unbelievably perfect. Yeah, like AI generated.
Well,
Exactly. Clone
so-
sent that out. And,
out in that area, Paul, would the pillowy snow like that, kind of where it's like perfectly rounded, would that last a while? Because out here in the east, like stuff would land all over it from the trees and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's gonna last. I mean, it's a massive field of boulders, and there's some trees around it, but it's gonna hold up. It's super cold, and so
Right.
I mean, it looks fluffy and like, hey, that's really loose, like probably deep snow, but it's got a pretty good crust on it as well because it's super cold out there. We're talking like -15, -20, -25. So
Oof.
when you go out there and you walk, not sitting, I wouldn't like walking through these boulder fields could be a little bit tough because you don't know where you're going to fall a little bit deep or whatever. But like when you got snowshoes on, you're walking out to the river to see like this, this river scene that's rolling into the mountains or whatever. You're cutting through a crust, to get out there, which makes it easier for snowshoeing for sure.
Right.
But it also helps like hold up the texture of the landscape and kind of puts that nice glaze on it at the same time.
right.
So
Nice, Jimmy. This is the best photo ever made in the history of photography. You are incredible. You are a master, and you're my savior.
Thank you.
dude, that's a good intro.
Did you want that made out to cash or?
Hey, just Venmo that shit right
Pay
now.
me that in beer,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Just hit send.
Beer coin.
Beer. It's probably more valuable than the other stuff.
So I really like this image. I think it's really nice. I love the square crop. That's really hard to do. So I always love when people pull that off because that's kind of something I always have in mind myself, and it just never quite works out. I have very few 1x1s. I feel like you have a lot, but
Yeah, I try.
just like the nice simplicity of the tree trunks sticking out of the snow, and then there's the shadows, the diagonal shadows, just really make this. And like, I don't know, it's just like a really nice scene to just sit and enjoy. Not overly complex, but not boring. really cool feeling to it too. But the other reason I wanted to share this is because it's from your creative February project you did. So
Right.
you had to challenge yourself to make a photo every day that month. So would you like shoot and then post right away, or is it like posting a photo every day? Like, did you not shoot every day?
So for the month of February, what I do is I take all the photos during February, but I might get a few like on a Tuesday, and then I might post that one like Wednesday and then Friday or something like that. So I can't get out every single day, but at least I've
Right.
done something photographically every day for the month of February.
Okay.
And
So you
then
challenge
post
yourself to post a new image every day.
every day, and sometimes the images were recorded a few days before. But like so,
What's
this one
crazy
was,
about it though is like all of those images were good. Like they were all portfolio worthy, which is pretty crazy because I don't think I could do that. Yeah, this was
That's
one of my
super
favorites
cool.
from that.
yeah, it's the second year I've done it, and it's just another artist. If you look online, you can see all the write up about it. But her name is Takis Walters, and she does a painting every day with pastels, and
Wow.
so she tries to
Jeez.
encourage other artists to do it every day for the month of February. And it's the first year I did it, I'm like, I am never doing this again. It was exhausting,
Okay.
but learned a lot. And then so this year I was like, I was feeling really cruddy last winter, but I did it, and it was just, it really pushes you hard. So come March, you're ready to take a little break.
But the work didn't look contrived at all. Like it didn't look like you were forcing it, like just trying to shit out images every day. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, and try to keep them kind of consistent and cohesive. A couple really kind of
yeah, they were all black and
don't
white. I
quite fit
noticed.
in. Yeah. I try to keep them all like I gave myself rules like so all 1x1s, all black and white, all just recently shot within the day or two or possibly three. And then the other kicker is I limited myself to an iPhone, so they're all shot on the iPhone in RAW and then processed on the iPhone.
Why'd you do that?
To beat myself up. There was no other reason. I don't know if I'll do
Did
that.
you just feel
part.
like you'd be like more flexible, like you could make an image at any given moment of the day?
I guess the first year I did it, I was just really trying to push it as hard as I could, and then I figured, next year, I'll just give myself the same set of rules. So that was
Do you
pretty
kick
much
yourself for any of these, like not having shot them on a DSLR?
it. Yes, nearly all of them. But February is, as Mike couldn't attest, February can be just really cold. There were a couple days when I went out and like, yeah. Everything is. I mean, like the whole landscape is monochrome, other than some of the evergreens you get. But it's just you go out because you're forcing yourself to go out, and it can be like Paul was saying, really cold.
That's the other thing. It's not like you went to like Antarctica or Iceland for 30 days and did this either. Like you just shot stuff that you have within a 10-mile radius of your house, probably.
Yeah, and truth be told,
some of it was like on your pool cover and stuff. Like,
yeah, one was on my pool cover. This one was about 10 feet off my garage. But yeah, maybe 15 feet. So,
so you could reshoot this.
Yep. Get me some snow. But and that's the one thing about the 1x1 is it really you have to you have to be very conscious of what's getting in the frame and what's not. And
right. It has to be like perfect.
Super selective. Yeah.
Something else I really like about this one is like in the top left corner, those two trunks are touching each other, but one has a shadow on the edge and the other one has light. So they have that nice separation still, even though they're overlapping.
Dude, exactly. That is so. That's such a good. That's such a good call out. If that's not there, if that light's not hitting that, they kind of blend together.
It'd be a clump, yeah.
Yeah. Well seen, Jimmy. This is great.
I just love that the trunk's there in general. It's just, obviously the two forms in the foreground, what you look at, and then the shadows, obviously your eye goes there, but then there's something else there in the background. It just gives you a little bit of latitude and leeway to let your eye wander around the photograph.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's a fun project. It's it's kind of self-imposed, but it's I'm looking forward to doing it again in February.
I was going to ask. I was going to ask if you were doing it again. That's cool.
Yeah, and I'm struggling, not struggling, but rethinking about like, do I give myself the same set of rules and create like 3 years of images with the same set of rules, or do I like change it up a little bit? So I don't know. I'm leaning towards giving it another shot for the same set of rules.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I would ever try this because I just hate creating limitations for I know like a lot of times limitations actually can help you to be more creative, right? Because you gotta it's kind of like boxing yourself in. Like when anything is like possible, it's difficult to make decisions, right? Because there's a million decisions you can choose from. But when you box yourself in, you only have like 2 or 3. And so I don't know, maybe you can be more like intentional with that one decision you choose because you can like process each of those possible decisions more than you can like a million. And then also, I just think of prisoners creating like weapons and stuff in jail. Like they get really creative with what they have accessible to them instead of just finding those scenes that are basically laid out for you on a platter. You're trying to make stuff work. But at the same time, I just like to go out and shoot things that just naturally call to me and not really try to create images. I just photograph stuff because I can't help it. I don't force myself to do it, so.
Right.
I think just me personally, it's not something that I would find super attractive.
Yeah, and it on top, it's all these really interesting kind of side things have come up from it. It's forced me to get into places not too far away from my house, but I just never went in there. I'm kind of looking for maybe something to photograph, and it's oh wow, that's actually kind of cool in here. So it's got me out. It forced me to get out into places that I hadn't explored. So
back 50 years.
How are you doing, Paul?
It was the Airwolf soundtrack there. I think the Airwolf theme right there. That's what it sounded like to me.
In stereo. In stereo.
Well, since this is another one of my images, I'm going to introduce the final beer tonight, boys. Macadamics. Boys.
Nice.
This is a collaboration. Actually, it's not barrel aged. Imperial Stout between Equilibrium in New Jersey, right, Jimmy?
Middletown, New York.
Oh, New York. Okay.
Yep.
I just remember you were in New Jersey when you went by and got a bunch of this stuff.
Yep.
And Great Notion in Portland. And this is with macadamia nuts, cacao nibs, coconut, and Madagascar vanilla. And I had the Great Notion version that they did in 2021. And I loved it. And so I was really excited that Equilibrium rebrewed this. I think it was late last year, or maybe earlier this year. Sometime last winter. It's not that long.
Yeah, it's like the past 12 months or something.
But I've been hanging on to it, and
let's hear about it. I want to know what the comparison is to the Great Notion version.
Oh my god!
So this one pours a little more brown. I remember the Great Notion one was jet black, like the blackest stout I've ever seen, which is really interesting. The Great Notion one, I remember it was straight fudge brownies, really, really intense, awesome dark chocolate flavor. This one, I'll try it again. I had a little bit last night. I already cracked this bottle and I corked it.
Talk to us. Talk to us. Yes. Yes. Yes.
It's really damn good.
Oh, dude, that sounds so good,
dude. Really thick. This is
Super
better
jealous.
than the pour I had last night because I'm getting further down the bottle.
Mm-hmm. What's his name?
Incredibly smooth. 11%, so not super high, but still really smooth. Zero booze presence, but I'm getting the macadamia nut quite a bit and also the coconut this time, and the vanilla. Like everything's coming through. Nothing is like super predominant or overpowering. It's really awesome. I wish I had another bottle.
And it's about a year old, you said?
I don't think these have dates on them.
Oh, okay.
I drove. I think I picked. No.
It was sometime last winter, so it could have been like February. It was like you and I both got them, Paul. We did a shipment from Equilibrium.
Yep.
I think it was like April actually, because it was with the Grand Royale bottles.
Yeah, I probably drank it the same day, like a savage.
And that was like in April for like a stout festival they did, March or April.
I just freaking pulled it out of the box and cracked it.
On the way home.
Yeah, right there.
Road soda.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, this pretty baby's been on the road, shooken up. I'm gonna take her out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take her out for a drive. That's right. Yeah, take her out for the road.
So I opened another one too, Equilibrium.
What?
Nice.
Maybe think of it. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, melatonin.
Yeah, Imperial Stout with coconut and marshmallow. This is a collaboration with collaboration with Magnify Brewing. There's no ABV on it. It's a little booze heavy, but definitely the coconut's coming through. So again, one of my favorite stout flavors. So definitely good.
I hate you guys.
That one looked really good.
I was out near Equilibrium today, driving back from New Jersey. So it's not, for me, not too hard to get to, but
I haven't checked their menu, but they start pumping out the stouts in the winter, so I haven't been looking super closely.
Yeah, soon. It'll be soon.
Yeah.
Probably like for Thanksgiving, once we finally
Thanksgiving, Christmas. All right, guys. Talk about my photo.
Okay, this one was mine. Hey, this fucking photo right here.
This is runner up for me.
Yeah, I smoked a cigarette after I looked at this. Anyways, family portrait, Eric Bennett. Yeah. This one right here, if you did not know it, is part of Bennett's new book that's coming out, Space, Stillness, and Silence. So I'm pretty stoked to get the book. There better be a personal message in there directly to me, not that generic bullshit. But anyways, this is a collector's edition print. And when you pop this one up, dude, I was like, damn, it's fucking perfect. I love it. It is so good. The canyon wall behind there, the illuminating trees, leaves. I mean, the balance, it's super dope. Talk to us about it.
Well, there's not really like a big story behind this other than I had shot it the year before, but the color palette was like entirely different. The leaves are like really yellow and like kind of green, and I wasn't very hyped on it. And then the following year, I was just like passing by this spot again, and I saw them, and they looked a little bit more cohesive with like the orange, and then the sagebrush was like a little bit more aqua looking for some reason, like the rabbit brush, sagebrush stuff in the background. So that's like what made this one for me, having like the orange in the bottom and the orange in the top, and then that nice like cool aqua foliage in the middle, that desert brush. Like that's what I really liked about this one. And then I had like a little bit of reflected light this time on the tree trunks on these oak trees for this time of day that I didn't have before. But this is one that's grown on me. Like I wasn't super crazy about it for a while, and then I liked it more and more as time went on.
Nice. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think the color palette absolutely makes this photo. It's so balanced throughout. The reflected light on the trunks, very similar to the reflected light on the canyon wall in the background. There's still some subtle green on some of the leaves that haven't totally changed color, balancing the green and the grasses in the back. It's so well balanced. It's just an awesome photo. Yeah, this is definitely on my list of ones that I was almost chose. So great photo.
Hey, you snooze, you lose.
Exactly.
Mike.
Exactly.
But I had a backup, and the backup was equally as good, but completely different, and just a soul snatcher from Bennett.
Well, what's kind of funny is you guys, all three of you guys chose tree images. So like, I shoot so many things besides trees. Trees are like my favorite subject matter, so I don't mind. But yeah.
No, I kind of went into your mountain deal, and I was surfing around there for a while. And when I sent you the two that I sent you, I was like, okay, based on these two, which one offers up like maybe some diversity with the conversation or something you wanted to talk about or isolate? But I mean, they're both just. I mean, both of them. When I scrolled through your feed, when I saw them the day that you released them, I was like, "Fuck, these are fucking great."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one I shot in 2020 actually too, so it's not like that new.
Wow. Yeah,
I was hanging on to it for the book, but decided it would be a nice print for one of the collector's editions, so I released it publicly.
that's a good call.
Cool.
Yeah, I felt like it's an easy one to resonate with, so it'd be like maybe this is actually the most popular print too that people have chosen.
Yeah, and it goes to show you like too, like you know, like these oak leaves have kind of like shifted over towards, you know, here like orange brown. Fall foliage doesn't need to be like scarlet red like what Mike and I see all the time in the Northeast. You know, it's like slide the red.
Not this year, but
yeah, but you know, it's you had shot this 2 months earlier, it would have nowhere near the impact. And you know, it's the fall can be so many different kinds of things in terms of what you see. You know, even like late fall, and you know, when there's just a few left and they're all kind of brown, it just kind of comes together really nicely.
Yeah, I like trees when they're like mostly bare rather than the other way around. Mostly
Yeah, it's they're so much more interesting. You get like the branches play in, you get that texture. I mean, man, I completely agree with you.
All right, last one.
Dude, I've never seen this. Are you kidding me?
This one was on his website, I believe. If not, then a horizontal one was.
Wow.
Yeah, there's some.
I'm trying to remember where I got it. I think off the website, but maybe not.
I saw it on Instagram a ways down in his feed when I was digging through.
Back to his good material.
Yeah, exactly.
So, just interesting fact: the image that Eric shared. Yeah, the fog is fake. Number one. No, but the image that Eric shared. This is like across the street. Like it's the opposite. It's the same road, opposite side of the road, down 100 yards.
Really?
It's like right near each other. Yeah. Target rich area, like two miles from my house.
Dude.
Yeah, birch are brutal to photograph. Like it's such soft wood that, you know, in around here, like ice and heavy snow will just like bend them to oblivion, snap them. So it's really hard to find a scene that is clean and pure like this one. I mean, you know, why some of them are not snapped or bowed is beyond me, but
this is killer.
It just found a scene that's so well balanced for a tree that's just so tough to find that, you know, is not beaten up by weather.
All right. So this was actually shot in January, and we had a week of. So there had been a lot of snow on the ground, but then we had a week of 40, 45 degree weather, like that typical January thaw that we seem to get every year up here. And just one morning, the fog because of the cooler temperatures was there, and I go up this road all the time. I mean, I mentioned the one that Eric had pointed out. Like, there's just so many beautiful scenes on this road, and the road is about 2 miles long tops. So it's just different conditions, kind of like we were talking about earlier. You know, it's like the same area, shooting at different times a year. Like most of the images that I posted on my Instagram from this spring were from this exact same area. It's a cool area. It's beautiful. Awesome. And it's totally unassuming. You drive up there and you're just like, oh, whatever. But
Well, that's the best
Start
because
looking
like
through
no one
the
else
lens,
is
it looks
really
good.
around taking photographs or anything. It's not like a hot spot.
No, nobody will ever photograph this. Is like so backwoods, just whatever. There's a big swamp right in the foreground. You can't really see it, but there's a big swamp in the foreground of this image.
It's great when you find a local place like that just like keeps calling you back. Like you just want to keep going and going and going, and you always find new stuff. And
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, those are super. Like, you can really kind of dig your heels in a little bit and really knock out some productive material and get a little bit creative.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I just have. I mean, there's so many photos from like within honestly like a mile on this road that I've made that are on my Instagram feed, and I have a bunch from this fall too that I haven't even processed yet because I obviously went up there for the fall too. I was only up there one day, but this is a great spot. It really is. I love it.
It's amazing. I thought you had to go to Iceland to take photos, you know?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
What time of year is this, Mike?
This is January, so again, kind of atypical just because we had a January thaw. So all the snow had melted, and this one morning just a heavy fog set in, and so I went up there. It's up in the mountains, so like there's a valley basically that runs right through the center of Vermont, and on either side of it is the Green Mountains. And so I live on one edge, the eastern edge of that valley, and I just pretty much went straight up behind my house, like just further up into the mountains, and that's where this is. There's the number of photos I've created from like that area, like that, it's insane. It's just such a cool place. Every season of the year.
Home court
What's
advantage, dude. Home court advantage
sure.
right there.
Yeah, you just get there. Exactly. You can see it. I'm just like, oh, it's good. I'm there in 5 minutes, from leaving my house. And you can see this sort of stuff.
Yeah,
Did I see you sipping on a pamplemousse LaCroix there, Paul?
No, it's a LaCroix, but it is a limoncello.
Oh yeah, the limoncello. That's the one.
That's
That's
the
best
one.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, not pamplemousse.
No, that's a side cart for my my last beer.
Yeah, limoncello is awesome.
Oh, dude, it's the best.
That's like the only LaCroix that actually has like a real taste to it. It tastes like lemon cake.
Yeah, I call it day drinking.
Yeah, there you go.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it was really cool, Mike. Not to like discount your composition or anything, but like, there's some scenes where just shooting them straight on is like the best thing you can do. Like, I like how you didn't overcomplicate it or anything. You just showed off the trees nicely with a very simple framing. That's all it took.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a portrait style for sure.
It's great.
Sometimes if you try to do too much, it just has diminishing returns.
Did you ever get back there in the spring, Mike, for that particular spot?
Yeah. Well, if you look back to the vast majority of the photos that I posted, I'll kind of give you the dates. They all came from this spot. Pretty much everything this past spring I took from there.
That's cool.
Starting around like things I threw up on my IG from like May 26. Pretty much my entire, so I was releasing stuff in collections in my entire April and May of this past year. We're not all, but mostly from a mile of this spot.
I'm asking because in the spring, like in those wetlands that you're describing, you can get some dogwood and some willow that it's mostly the dogwoods that have like this red bark to them.
Oh yeah, the color's phenomenal.
And then
it's almost better than the fall.
Yeah, and it's super fleeting, and then the buds on the top of those birch can be, like these, I don't know, yellow green to dark green, and it's like these really wild colors you get.
Yep,
Subtle.
for sure.
Good stuff, you guys. Fun to hear
Yeah.
a little bit more about each other's images. Hopefully,
Definitely.
the viewers enjoyed it as well. Wasn't too much circle jerking here, but I don't know, I thought it'd be fun to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, no, for
totally
sure.
different. Yep. Good stuff.
Loved
It was fun. Like taking a time out and going through your guys's like websites and looking at your stuff. So I had a good time doing that.
I would have had more fun if you guys had updated your websites and organized
Better
it
websites.
And,
Here we
had
go.
better web design.
There we go.
Here we go.
It's good feed. It's good feed. That's solid feedback. Solid feedback.
Duly noted.
Yes.
No, that's a good point, though. I definitely need to update my website a bit.
Where your pups, Mike?
Oh, they're out there. I just closed the door.
So
they're like every time I could open the door, they'll come in. Every time I go, anytime I take them up into the mountains, they're running around like crazy, like through the woods and stuff, and so they're passed the fuck out right now. They had a lot.
Oh, cool. That's great.
Yeah,
That's the best.
yeah. They're exhausted. I open it up, they'll come in, but yeah, they're zonked right now for sure.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take my kids to get dessert. They're waiting. They're about to bust the door down if I take any longer. So, happy Thanksgiving,
All right, boys.
everybody. Good
Happy
to chat with
Thanksgiving.
you.
Yeah, sure.
Happy Thanksgiving, man.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Enjoy the
Cheers,
meat
boys.
and some great dessert, some pies.
That's
Whoa,
what's that
Paul poured something else.
in the beer.
Yeah, I poured one last one, you guys. It's a
Nice.
Teeth and Tattoos from Anchorage
Coming in
Brewing.
right under the wire.
Is that like a sour or like a farmhouse ale?
Yeah, it's like a farmhouse ale.
What kind
I
of
thought it would be. Yeah, I thought it would be more like a smoothie sour, or at least
Yeah.
a sour, and it's not. But it's good. I'm trying to try a little bit more of their stuff, and I liked it. It's great.
Sweet.
Sweet.
So late
Enjoy the
entry.
rest of that tonight, man.
All right. See you guys.
See you guys.
All right, boys.
Cool.
All right.
Later.